Welcome to the final day of the Dallas home series. We've got 3 matches left until the field is set for Major 3. The Surge and Ravens are moments away from starting us off on the beautiful Mother's Day. But before we get into the matches, welcome into our CDL HQ, presented by USAA, and we want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mums around the globe watching today. We love you, Call of Duty mums. You are the best. I'm also joined by the best as well. I'm joined today by my friends Nameless and Study. It is so good to be back on the desk with you guys and talking about, some big stuff. We got a ton at stake today. Let's start with FaZe and Optic matchup. Let's have a look at what's on the line. So we've got a lot really to talk about here. There's a lot of info. So to put it simply, especially for the Green Wall fans, Optic have to 3-0 or at least 3-1 FaZe to make winners bracket. This is because we would have a 3-way tie, and that scoreline will be the tiebreaker to pop over the Thieves. So there is so much going on, and a little bit more later on that we'll talk about as well with Group A. But gents, looking at this and looking at the matchup we have, what will decide who wins Optic and FaZe, Stud?
For me, this is going to come down to hard points, man. On one side, you got FaZe.
So Chicago wins, but they only win 3-2. They're still 4th. If FaZe wins, then they're still fucking 4th.
But they've been doing so far so good. And the opposite side, you have.
Oh, I thought he was already in this bitch.
Series, they've lost both hard points in both of those, and this is just something that we don't expect out of Optic when they have four unbelievably talented caliber players, and the fact that they keep on continuously making these little mistakes in hard points, specifically when they played that Moscow, they got a blessed spawn for P2, and they let New York just break through the front side by getting every single kill. Those are those little mistakes that Optic needs to clean if they want to have a chance.
Well said. For me, it's going to come down to how Optic plays under pressure. Not only do they have to win 3-0 or 3-1 against Atlanta FaZe, who has not lost
Been
the best
sleeping
of 5
this
series
goddamn long
outside of a Game 5. So that's a tall task in and of itself. And the way Optic has been playing the last few series, the respawn has been downright terrible. I mean, watching them in their last series versus the New York Subliners, on this map alone, I seen Dashy make a mistake, Formal and Envoy. Envoy wasn't playing his life in multiple rotations. Formal wasn't setting up in proper positions, and there was a key mistake that Dashy made where he challenged a one-on-one gunfight on rotation to Temple, left Scump alone, and then they ended up getting steamrolled. So this team, the teamwork has to be on point, and the respawns have to be clean. During stage 1, the respawn was great. It was fine. The teamwork was there, so we know they're capable of it.
What is the odds that, let's just say, Optic Gaming does fucking 3-0 FaZe? I mean, it's not going to happen, but
happening to
plus
them
1100.
over again. It's a
Interesting.
tall order with FaZe today, but
Excuse me.
I'm pretty confident that this team can bounce back. I think they got it somewhere deep inside. They just need to really kind of release that out. And
I've got 10 in it right now. What are you talking about?
But gents, we have a lot to talk about, including our standings, because there's a lot of things to note here. So let's take a quick look.
Damn,
at
man,
our
I feel
stage
low.
3 group
I feel low.
standings. Now, looking at Group A, Toronto Ultra, pretty clean. Look at that, 5-0 record, gorgeous stuff. Florida Mutineers also doing very well for themselves. And we've got a couple of other highlights here. LAG, 1-4, Paris Legion, 1-4. Unfortunately, just not going to happen in terms of the winner bracket for them. That dream is out of it. And then Group Bravo as well, Subliners 4-1. Looking pretty good, but then FaZe hoping to get that 4-1 record today against Optic Chicago as well. We got a lot happening here, a lot of tiebreakers potentially on the line, but like they're right bang in the middle, the ones that aren't highlighted, Group Alpha, is Rocket and Empire. Now this is a deciding match to decide who is going to be going up into that winners bracket. Only one will be going up there. And I want to know, really, how are Empire today, based on how they've been performing, going to pull off this upset today?
After this series, I'm going to go take a shower too. So
today it has to be on closing out those hard points. Throughout watching them, ever since they made this roster change, they build such a lead in those hard points nice and early. They go up at least 100 to 150 points, but then they let their opponents just slowly get back into the game. And this is just something for the Dallas Empire where that momentum, that confidence can really start to get struck. When you are dominating a team like you see in this clip, they're up 100 points. I'm pretty sure right now, when this game ended, it was 250 to like 230. And that's just something that Dallas Empire can just not allow to happen. They need to fix those little mistakes, because going up against a Minnesota Rocket team who are just improving as they continue to go on, it's going to be a difficult task. They need to close out in those final moments.
Agreed. With Dallas Empire, this is the defending world champions. They drop Hook, they bring in Fellow, they switch Illy over to an SMG. It's been a struggle for them to find their fitting. You lose your dynamic sub duo, Shotzi and Hook, and now you're trying to figure it out. The teamwork isn't there. That's the big thing for me. Every single player on this team is underperforming. Look how crazy this stat is right here. Not a single player on Empire throughout their tenure with Fellow is above a 1.0 in Stage 3. That's absolutely wild. And that's why they're getting come back on in these games. And Hardpoint, it's getting frantic. It's pandemonium towards the latter half of these games, and they can't capitalize on the kills that they're getting. In this control, there was a few moments where they had an opportunity. Illy in particular got a major 4-piece in top of the plane, and they still weren't able to garner any control of the map, get control of A. It's just little mistakes that they're making, and they're not playing together. So today it needs to be better and more on point against Minnesota Rocket.
100%, and you can't hide from the stats. I mean, that KD is just quite shocking. When you think of Dallas Empire, I just don't think you think of a team that is completely under a 1.0 KD. It's mind-blowing to me. But look, they have time to try and get that and elevate that a little bit more as they head into Stage 4. Let's see how they do in the major. Let's see how they do today, folks. Talking about today, let's have a look at our US Army schedule to see what is coming your way. So first up, we do have Surge versus the Royal Ravens, both really fighting for a little leg up into next week. And then a duel of the powerhouses, Atlanta versus Chicago. FaZe looking to make it a 4-1 finish, and Chicago need confirmation that they are set for the major. And finally, our Game Fuel marquee match, Empire versus Rocker, both at 2-2, and only one is going to walk away with the edge. Now, we have some exciting things for you guys to listen to, so hopefully you sat back and relaxed because you've got to listen up here. This battle of CDL Titans, Optic versus FaZe, will be...
I can't believe the marquee match is fucking Rocker and Dallas instead of Optic and FaZe.
...on our military service members and veterans. T-Mobile is committed to serve those who serve.
Wait, really?
So they're teaming up with the Call of Duty Endowment Fund to help military veterans find high-quality careers. For every text of T-Mo Salute to 313131, T-Mobile will donate $5.
This man is higher than a kite right now.
Up to $50,000. In addition, a few lucky entries will get the chance to be paired with one of this year's All-Stars during the upcoming T-Mobile All-Star Weekend. And as your pro advances through the
You just believe them? What the fuck's wrong with you?
So, to recap, by texting T-Mo Salute to 313131,
Oh, that's your damn fault.
$5 to help support our veterans and their families, plus the chance to get paired with a pro during All-Star Weekend. Man, what a drop. So, get texting, folks, right now so we can continue to serve those who serve. So, the final day of the Dallas Home Series gets underway in moments. But before it does, Luke has some special words on this momentous day.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Just want to say thank you for everything, and thank you for being the best, most beautiful mother I could ever ask for. And shout out to all the moms out there.
Not all 5G networks are created equal. T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network.
Beyond the veil lies the Shadowland. Every soul has its place.
Beyond the veil lies darkness, where every soul has its place.
World of Warcraft, Shadowlands, Brave the Beyond, available now.
Bro, I think he's just fucking playing us now. I know, motherfucker.
Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile.
I was about to say, I was like, yeah, we can't do anything yet.
Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in
I hate when this happens every time.
Scuff, the official controller of the Call of Duty League.
Yeah.
The Call of Duty League is presented by USAA Insurance, auto, renters, and home insurance that's made to help the military community protect what they've worked hard for.
Hi everybody, and welcome to the final day of the Dallas home series. The final day as we prepare, we cement the seeding coming into the Stage 3 majors. We are starting off today with the London Royal Ravens taking on the Seattle Surge as we've got one more lovely day to take a look at that fantastic backdrop. I'm somewhere in one of those buildings, possibly. Which one? Who really knows? Stud, I gotta ask you, my friend, big game coming up just in terms of seeding. What's up with that 5th through 6th seed, what that kind of means for both of our teams. How you feeling coming into this match?
I'm feeling good, man. You know, we have the Ravens on one side. Both of these teams actually played Atlanta FaZe in their last matchup, but the Ravens, they played them a week ago. So it's been a long time we've seen the Ravens play, but on the opposite side, Seattle Surge just making that roster change for Decimate. They had a tough matchup versus Atlanta FaZe, and they're looking to bounce back, and this is a good matchup for them here.
It definitely is, man. I know there's a lot of people out there who were kind of excited despite the loss that Surge had versus the Atlanta FaZe, just to be specific. Of course, this will be Decimate's 2nd series in the lineup as well. We've talked enough about the team. Let's go ahead and meet the squad. Your Seattle.
I don't know why. I'm dead at serious, like, and it's not for any particular reason. I don't know for sure, but like I really just don't like them two as casters. I don't know why. I have no reason, like, specifically of like this is why I don't like them. I just don't like them.
Looking to find a few more, but Gunners absolutely rips his way through the 3 of them. 249.
Yeah, that's fine.
And there's a look at your Seattle Surge. I mean, a team that's kind of struggled so far throughout Stage 3. That a lot of people were kind of hyped about them because they had started to improve in Stage 2. Stage 3 kind of looked like it could be that opening for them. However, it wasn't. Right now, they bring in Decimate. They had that series the other day versus the Atlanta FaZe. Specifically on topic with that match, just because that's really the only thing we have to go off of in terms of Decimate being the lineup. What'd you kind of take from that series, both positives and negatives for Seattle?
Well, the positives that I took was that they went out and they were able to slay with the best, especially in that first hard point. They were able to take that, but then they lose the S&D. That's why I expected them.
I swear to God, man, I don't know what you're on, but damn.
On the fly. But I really need to see this team in just improving control. It's their worst game mode even before they made this roster change, and they ended up losing again.
I feel like you talked to my moderator King and then got something off of him because that man is a
versus some of these big dogs.
That boy loves his drugs. What's up, King?
How big of a deal? In reference to that Stage 3 major, how big it is just in terms of points. And the one team who could definitely use some points right now is the team that currently sits in, well, in terms of the London Royal Ravens. So, like we said, man, expecting this team to maybe come out with the fire today. Again, it's a big game for both of our teams. We've met Seattle. Now it's time to meet the team on the other side. Put your hands together. The London Royal Ravens.
No, that's fucked up. Is it becoming icicles? Fucking Dogecoin's back up to 57. You, my mod King goes, I enjoy being a hippie, mate.
And there is your
Royal
Ravens, a team that is no stranger to some roster moves as they've brought in Zaptius for Stage 3, and kind of on the same sheet of music study as kind of a similar moment for the Seattle Surge. Just Stage 3 not being their greatest, but for London, they have gone to back-to-back Game 5s. One of those was a W versus New York. The other one was a close loss to Atlanta. I mean, what's kind of your thoughts right now on this London team, despite what has been, you know, not a great record, but overall they've taken some teams the distance?
Well, I like this London team overall.
I mean, we still got plenty of time,
Chief. Series, they went to a Game 5 with some great teams, New York and Atlanta. And then versus New York, they were able to win the Search and Destroys and take away that control. And then versus Atlanta, they dropped that last Search and Destroy, but they were still able to keep themselves alive in those.
It depends, but I'm thinking I might do a London 3-0.
We're gonna hop right into our game few keys to victory for London. The SMG firepower needs to be on point today. They cannot be lacking. So far throughout Stage 3, Zed is at a .83 and and Zaptius is at a .84. When that submachine gun duo is on point, they can be one hell of a duo, but as of right now, these guys have not figured it out between each other, and hardpoint has really been lacking for this team. They need to be better. So far throughout stage 3, they are 2-6, and this is a really important game mode where we talk about those submachine guns needing to be able to slay. They make that roster change for Dylan and Zaptius, and Dylan was their main killer before he was on this roster, and now with Zaptius on this team, he hasn't been able to pick up kills, so that's where their respawn is really hurting, specifically their hardpoint. They need to improve there.
Yeah, man, I think you laid it out perfectly. As now let's go and advance now to our game field keys to victory for the Seattle Surge. Continue to learn from mistakes in practice in series versus phase. We talked about they have 3 days of practice coming into that match versus Atlanta. Now some more time. Pristini is the playmaker. He needs to be better today, as that search and destroy KD has not looked so good so far in stage 3. Need a more consistent effort from the team in respawns. Currently all of them are below a 1, and they went -28 in slang versus Atlanta. And finally, the story that just continues to brew for the Seattle Surge. And maybe it could be different with Decimate, right? But the control, it sticks out, man. Not only has that record just been, you know, kind of a bad one all season long, they're 0-4 so far on the stage. Well said.
Yeah, they are, man. It's just not good if you're a Surge. One game mode where you're consistently losing. If you're starting off 1-0 in the series, you lose that search and destroy, you're basically going to put yourself down 2-1 because you can't win that map 3. And this is where Decimate, when you bring this guy to the roster, for a player like Looney, who was sitting dead last when it came to that KD, we all love Dan, he's a phenomenal player, but he just wasn't able to pick up those kills. So with Decimate on this roster, he can be that second playmaker, especially with that submachine gun, to pick up a lot of those kills.
We got Moss.
A little bit versus Atlanta phase on that Garrison, but in a match like this versus London, looking at these maps in mode, I really enjoy these maps right now for the Surge.
Well, tell me, why is that? I mean, what?
Bro, hold on. So Moscow, that's a fucking Surge map, isn't
actually
it?
Be beat on that map in particular, and Moscow has a nice little Moscow sandwich.
Apocalypse is a Ravens map.
Things like that stick off the page for you, Stud. Why do you think Seattle favored here?
Well, it's just the first 3 maps. So, like, London,
I'd love to be able to bet, y'all.
The only thing recently with these guys is that he too used to be that.
It won't show up on Bovada.
In 2 previous matchups, they have lost this map because they cannot get any time off of P2.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna put
it's
that
literally, it's
into
not even
the
showing
Surge.
up.
And then on map number 2, Express, London, who are 1-3.
So we're not betting. We're not gonna be able to bet first
New York
map.
Came back 5-1 on them. And I know the way that Surge can play on that map, being aggressive towards that B side. So the first 3 maps, I really
What, you didn't want to bet at all in this
favor,
series?
But if London could come out and surprise, we definitely could push this series so long.
Oh, I thought you just meant like in general. I was like, yeah, no, it's not popped up at all.
You think there's an underdog in this series? Like, you think there's one team that's kind of like maybe the
Okay, that 3 sets could go a long way
across the board?
No, I think it's definitely even. Like, both of these guys, they're just trying to fight for a better seed, 5th or 6th.
Unfortunately, you have to. The lowest that you could bet is 50 cents.
But as of right now, both of these teams are just trying to put in practice. Just trying
Yeah,
to protect their
I've
team.
tried it before where I had like 25 cents or something. I was like, fuck it. And yeah, they were like, unfortunately, you have to have a minimum of 50 cents to bet, like, or to actually like make a bet.
Formula at the right time to close out the year strong.
I'm excited, right? I think this is going to be a good tester kind of coming into, again, that stage. But obviously for Seattle, you're just trying to learn, right? You're just trying to kind of figure out exactly where you struggle at, what kind of things are you starting to improve on, as really focus, obviously, is at P1. A major fight just happened, as really the entire player base just happened.
What's
to get
up?
Off of the screen. It was a major gunfight win. I want to say from Shawnee versus Pristini, who was trying to go for the early bench. The 2, maybe
Oh my God.
to line up from
Wow,
Paul
Pollux just got 3.
Straight in the feed. 5 seconds left on P1, and you see where Seattle are spawning right now, Stud, over in Narnia.
I wanted to pick them for 3-0 too, but fuck, man, the odds are gonna be garbage when they win this map.
P2, they weren't able to get any time on it.
Dude, imagine fucking Seattle loses 250-0. I've never seen that happen, but I would love to.
Off this beginning of this hard point, you're gonna force all of Seattle to try to hit around the street side. So Paul Lex is currently on the 3 spree, so is Zed. But with this time ticking, Seattle, they have to try to put some pressure on this quick, because it's looking like the way that London are playing this, it's going to be another 3 down.
Oh, London is destroying them.
Now, we talk about this hard point in particular, is again, the Ravens just
Bro, they've got 10 kills total combined right now.
Points after this hill comes to a close. Both these teams have really struggled on Moscow HP. I think they're both 0-3 so far in stage 3. And in fact, they've also lost to the exact same teams. They've all lost to New York, they've all lost to Chicago and Atlanta. So we talk about that even kind of skill card across the board. It remains the same, as there is a big fight now happening over at P3. Paul continues on the spree, now at 5 in a row. as London very well could be in a spot to maybe pin both of these back-to-back, and that would just be horrific if you're the Surge at this point, stud. What are we talking about? 3 hills straight. Seattle yet to get a point on the board. Zaptia's causing problems through the back, as that's going to be 2 for him. There's the point.
Yeah, and the Ravens.
I was wondering when they were actually going to get a point on the board. Jesus.
Perfect hard point. They force Seattle to early rotate towards that P3. They all flood through the front side. Unfortunately, they don't get any streaks, but they once again flip those spawns. And
Well, yeah, I mean, I can't bet now, though.
Front side, that's going to be another 3 dead. Everybody's spawning out towards the front with about 25 seconds left. You see what London is doing. They're starting to think about
At least
that
it's
rotation.
up, but yeah, I mean, it's a little too
Zenny's
little
gonna be
late.
Nice and early. Forces gold window, able to pick up another kill. It's going to
Yeah.
be 6 and 2 on the map. But so far right now, the Ravens are really stepping up in this first hard point.
Oh my goodness! I mean, this is a this is a beating to start, my friend. Like we said, they've dominated pretty much every rotation. And right now, if you're Seattle, I mean, you have to try to pick it up now toward Boulevard before this game even starts to get more out of hand, as they have nearly reached 20 points. But
Pristini's 1 and
right
7.
now,
Holy
given the
crap.
timing, given the way this game has gone, you're looking at a few players maybe try and provide some.
Oh, well, excuse me. 2 and 8.
The game is still yet far from over.
I was gonna say the same to you.
Our Astro listening on
Decimate's on
Surge.
4.
Bus here?
There's 3 of there's like 2 or 3 buses.
Yeah, life here. Come on. I'm in mini.
Oh, I was about to say, oh, Decimate's on 5, and then no, he died.
In gold, in gold. I'm trying to frame bus right now.
You don't want to tell you when somebody's on 5? Bro, Griffin, you missed it yesterday. It was hilarious. I swear to God, like 4 different players in like 3 different matches would get like a 5, like be on a 5 kill streak, and I'd be like, oh, this player's on 5, and then they'd instantly get killed. I swear to God, it happened like 4 or 5 times. And Chief goes, will you shut up? It was hilarious.
Play from this side, play from this side. I'm trying to look our pinch. I have no idea where they're coming from. My spawn does use.
2 half wall, 2 half wall. Yeah, on half wall, I got one. Charlie's one shot, right side corner half wall, one half wall weak. Hold weak, behind me, gold. Half wall, half wall,
Oh my God, dude, Zaptia's just fucking shit on Gunless, or on Pristini.
You said left?
We hit left and benches, hit left and benches. Someone's sitting out left.
Just one of Beskies, Johnny. Dead.
I got the guy close right. He's Johnny close. He's just showing close right. No, he's middle, mid-side down, mid-side down.
Get child here, we can child.
Yeah, we should.
I'm cream and half wall. Full flash, half wall.
Cream and half wall. I think I close.
Half wall, Shawnee hitting it.
One got me statue. One got me statue, guys.
Yeah. Alright, Shawnee's half wall.
One is statue and half wall.
Johnny, one shot half wall.
Here. Some benches here. One could be close right here.
I'm gonna wrap straight. We gotta play for this guy close.
Oh shit. I don't see the guy close up. Guy close up. Hey, Shawnee push up.
The next one was Express. Is that a London map? Oh, Shawnee's on 5.
Try to go around street. Try to go around street here.
Shawnee ran the globe.
Looking half
Yeah,
wall.
chop this guy globe together.
Hey, Chief.
We got half wall peek in here.
Well, Stud, I was planning on
TV.
asking you, like, you know, given the scoreline, how do you feel about Seattle's
Shawnee's on
comms,
5.
but, I feel like I kind of know the answer to that.
Yeah, no. I was trying to say it beforehand, but you weren't answering, so I was like,
just
damn
listening
it.
to those comments out of the Surge right there, and it definitely sounded
So,
a little frustrating.
Express is a Seattle map?
Towards that P1. Octane said he doesn't even
I
know
still
where they're
think
coming from. There's
London
no
could win
structure
on
right
that
now,
map.
the hard point right now for the Surge, and that's why they're losing every single rotation. London is just on point.
London's just slaughtering them.
This is something we weren't expecting in its very first map. London are just doing such a great job of the rotations. The money hills they're really taking advantage of. This is so far going to be the second time they were able to get a full 60 on his P2. But as I say that, Decimate's able to break in and take down 2. And at junk time,
Yeah, Zed, maybe you should take away your fucking pistol and actually reload the gun.
Now, Ravens are going to be rotated towards that P3. Last time, they were able to get at least 30 seconds off of this. Surge need to start playing some perfect hard point.
Obviously, if you're Seattle in that particular point in the game where there's a good 25 seconds left on the clock, you have to kind of go for the break. This is just a situation that you get put in as Pristini gets stuck toward the Boulevard. Now, really, at this point, as we said, Seattle have just kind of put themselves in such an awkward position where they really have to challenge for everything. They have to be thinking about the spawns. They have to basically win fights. They have to win unfavorable positions. And so far, the slang has just really not been there. You get 198 to 61. London, they can't win it here, but boy, can they get so.
Chief, this reminds me of the fucking Optic Gaming versus New York map on Apocalypse. How bad fucking Optic got slaughtered.
Players who were basically saying, I don't know where they're coming from. It kind of sounded like, you know, when you're in league play and like only a few players have mics, and you're just like, guys, you know, can we try to pick up the comms, please? We need something. Just as I say that, Seattle, they are able to break it with 10 seconds left.
Yeah, so with those 10 seconds, it's going to give him at least a little bit extra time on the clock, so the score isn't that bad. But The only thing is, you see where London is already set up. They don't have any bank control, so this can be the opening. Paul Lex is able to take down one. He's going to be able to spot Gunless, but that's going to get traded. So eventually this pinch is going to come in. You're forcing all of Seattle to spawn out towards P2. Last player on the point is going to be
Wait, what's up?
Once he drops, full control is going to be in favor of the Ravens.
What's going on?
Only 30 seconds away from closing out this map number 1.
I can't hear you, dude. What'd you say?
We're just trying to get something going. As Paul really runs right past the player. He'll take that.
I'll mute my mic.
Has a nice setup, but Decimate is able to read him. London really just struggling to try to get closer to that 250 mark. They've kind of been around 220 for a while now. Octane just really looks for the pressure. He loses teammates toward the front side. Decimate, meanwhile, is on the flank, but because Octane drops from the front, it just allows for that pinch to not really be a possible one. Really, from this perspective, 7 seconds left. Decimate, he can try to go for the contest. They've already at least got themselves one extra hard point to possibly hold on to this game for, but it's just not looking good at this point. It's kind of hard to cast when you got a team just this out ahead as the Ravens are.
Yeah, this is a smoke show. This is an absolute slaughter to start the day off. Ravens, they're going to be nice and early set up, and just like that, kills are going back and forth between both teams. Seattle trying to stay alive. Like I said, they need to play perfect hard point, 246 to 86. London, they're just trying to not give up those P2 spawns. I really like the way that London are playing this. It's going to be 3 down, and that's going to be the opportunity. Here comes the flood in. Decimate eventually should get traded, and London should be able to close it out here.
Oh, they're hanging on.
Or not.
Reset. Okay, Paul. All right. He has something else to say. Nice shots coming in from Paul as they'll maintain the streak. Again, I'm not sure how important getting 7 kills in a row really is at this point in the game, but 3 seconds left on the clock, or rather 3 seconds left now in this hill. 3 points remaining for London. Here comes the 3-man charge out of the front side from Seattle. Is daring. Is how great it can be. Zed, Shawnee, all too familiar. Octane, he falls inside of the point, and that should be the game. It took us a little bit of a while to kind of drag ourselves over the finish line, but it was a Ravens dub in the end. And I mean, what's at this point, like, you know, if you are a team like the Surge, right, you obviously are off to that roster change. We're talking about, you know, little positives after that matchup versus the Atlanta FaZe. I mean, what really needs to be said in the comms right now after a major loss like that, second series with Decimate in the lineup?
Well, it's kind of difficult, man, because hardpoint is that game mode that you continuously are practicing with your team. It's the one that you play all the time. And when you come out and get destroyed by the team who's currently sitting in last place in the CDL, that's kind of frustrating, man. You're sitting there like, all right, guys, that wasn't our map. We weren't winning any single rotations. We were playing from the back foot the entire time. But we got to completely let that go. We got to make sure we're able to fight back in this series. And that next S&D, like I said, it's not really strong for London. They're currently sitting at 1-3 on Express S&D. And on the opposite side, Seattle Surge, who, like I said, make this roster change so they can come with some new developed strats on that map number 2.
Really, I know this scorecard isn't the prettiest, but really, what, 24-17 out of Paul, 25-16 there from Shawnee. So without a doubt, the ARs were frying, and the guy that we kind of talked about a lot for this team.
Yeah, it was good.
Obviously, he goes -10. Really, just not a great map overall. So you can't really point out one specific player and say
map 2.
He's the problem for sure. That was the issue throughout that first game, but really a forgettable hard point, to put it lightly, for the Seattle Surge. As you talked about at times, Search and Destroy, it's kind of been their map. It's been one, or rather a game that they've really relied on. When we talk about that control, that's just, it makes it so awkward, right? Because when you are a team like the Surge, when you're struggling so prominently in one of those modes, and then you lose one of the opening 2, it kind of puts you in a bind. But hey, like we said, Seattle, how can they rebound? Can London go up 2-0? Is it time to bring it home? We're still got a lot to go, folks. Stay with us. Search Story Express up next.
All right, I put my headphones in. Yeah, I put 4 just because I only have 10 total.
You have come for adventure.
Well, send me some money, you little fucker.
But the Barons want
That's what I thought, you little whore. I'm just gonna put 4 on map 2 for London. He is annoying, isn't he? I mean, I still love him, but he's still annoying as shit, so. Yeah. He's an asshole, man. Man, did I said check your Bovada and then goes, hey, I'm still 0.
The Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. The Call of Duty League is presented by Zenni, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Zenni Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting zenni.com/gaming.
I just want to give a shout out to my mom. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be in this world and this earth, and always appreciate everything you've done for me. And also shout out to my wife, who's a mom now. She does and is doing an amazing job. So raising our daughter.
No, I'm here. I'm just sitting on Twitter.
Oh, we absolutely
I know
love
Chibi
to
doesn't
see
love me.
it.
It's
Again,
okay. I
happy
understand.
Mother's Day. Oh, we absolutely love to see it. Again, happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. Got a lot of awesome
We bet
moms in the
London.
scene.
Do not do the
nice
entire
yesterday
amount that
was
Chibi
Zed's
gave you,
mom getting on the
Jesus.
timeline a decent amount for that
Yeah.
Paris Legion team. Definitely a lot of eyes on this series. Everybody trying to get the job done. But instead, now we got to talk about Search and Destroy, man. I mean, obviously,
How much
if
did
you're
you
both
give
these
him,
teams,
Chief?
Primarily, if you're the Surge, you're just trying to get out of what was that first game loss. But really, the Search and Destroy has not been great for either of these teams, my friend.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the S&D struggles for the Ravens.
Okay,
They're
I will
sitting at
send you a
11th, and
fucking photo.
It would be 12th, but when they made that roster change for Paul Lex, I'm pretty sure they couldn't win a single Search and Destroy. When Paul Lex came in, they won 2 back-to-back, and that was just something that they've been able to try to build upon now, but obviously their S&D is still struggling. The opposite side, you have the Surge, who are currently sitting in 10th. It's not really good S&D gameplay from either one of these teams. Obviously, they both made multiple roster changes, at least on the side of the Ravens. This is the first time the Surge make that roster change, so there's a whole lot of strategies that need to still be developed on both sides of these teams.
Now, I wanted to quickly, kind of with Search Destroy in mind, I kind of wanted to get back to this conversation that we had, you know, kind of coming into this series, which again is that Seattle control problem. Because again, when you do lose one of these first maps, now it kind of puts you in this situation of like, guys, we very well could be down, you know, 1 and 2 coming into a game for a hardpoint just because you can't rely on that control. If you are a team like Seattle with this Search and Destroy up next, does it kind of give an added pressure to the team, you think, knowing that that control hasn't been great?
100%, because their control, like you said, it hasn't been great. They're basically starting off series down 0-1 once they hit that midpoint of the series. So they got to be able to take either map 1 or map 2 to stay alive and fight the distance and push these maps all the way to the very end. So this is a map they need to be able to take because, like you said, the confidence level for the Surge
I bet on
right
it
now
too.
in that game mode is just
But I mean,
not
they
there.
also probably
Starting
allowed
being
this
down
because
0-2
they're trying to
going
get
to
practice
that,
for it.
It's going to look real scary for them.
I know it's weird, right? Like we're already talking about the control. We literally haven't even began our round number 1, but you know, it's just an interesting conversation.
Imagine they slaughter fucking Seattle
If
still.
you're Surge, again, there's like a 3-14 record, I think it is in control. Just not so great. Again, it is a garrison, but hey, get the controls out of here. We're gonna talk about Search and Destroy now here on Express. Just say, thankfully, what that times could be on Express, just the fast-paced rounds. This one a little bit slower off the start for London. Got a little bit of pressure going down, possibly over at B. Maybe just a few line of sight type angles, but for the most part, bombs still sitting
You will
pretty
not.
steady. Over at that A point is Paul.
Chief, you look at my photo though, just to see that I'm not fucking lying about my username.
Gonna clear things up, but it is Sam LaRue, aka Octane, getting those visuals early.
Yeah, and that's a good first blood right there.
All right, Paul X with the
only thing
aimbot.
about this first round is that's why you see the Surge playing so back. There's going to be no trophy system, so their nades can definitely be useful. But unfortunately, the bomb is going to be planted. Octane's able to take down one person out of that top.
Well, he got
ticket
Shawnee.
booth. Now it turns
But they're
to a
all,
3v3.
dude, they're bomb
Seattle
rushing
all
it.
trying
Oh
to
my
retake
God,
from
look,
their
but
side.
Zed's behind him.
Here comes Zed on the flank from the top bridge. He's going to cause some problems. Force all those players to turn around. Just like that, Paul X is going to hit some great shots on the Octane. Now it's a 2v2 situation.
All left up to Decimate. He gets found out, and really, I think that round, kind of for me, study comes down to not just the early control that London get, but really
You
that,
can see it in
that flank
Octane's
from
face,
Zed
man. He's
causes
just
some
pissed.
problems. He instantly kind of makes everybody from the Surge turn a certain direction, kind of change up their spots, and really from there, London, they were able to hunt them down and close out what was a 2 versus 2, as it was Paul really gonna getting early in the feed, lining up with half of the kills throughout our first. Now we'll take a look through the eyes of Seattle on their opening offense. It appears to be the early hit at B.
And this is going to be a complete blind count. And the only thing is Ravens are trying to take control of middle map. Do they notice that a couple players are going to be in towards Ticketbooth? No. So Zaptius is able to take down one, but Octane with the trade. Zaptius has gained that information. The bomb is going to be down, but Decimate, good pinch on the backside of that ticket to turn it into a 2v3. So if you're Seattle, you need to try to work this bomb plant. Do you have any awareness? Once that happens, Decimate is able to spot Zed. So eventually this bomb chat should be going down. They just have to try to locate the second player. They know where Zed is. You still see Seattle players just trying to spread map, so no players are able to slip through. But it's looking at number 3, Decimate. He's going to be playing the rat back, trying to set up a pinch onto Zed.
He doesn't see him. Zed escapes to the shrubbery, and that will take Octane down. Decimate at least is able to make good on it, but now a 1 versus 2. Paul's position is known, and he will get dropped inside of the ticket booth. So, what, man? Back-to-back offensive rounds, and that was kind of a big story coming into this, because I believe that Seattle are like, well, at least you'd like to imagine they would be, at least somewhat around that. London 11th in defensive rounds. So really both teams have struggled in kind of locking down what should be more more consistent.
I didn't see it at all.
You know, kind of position, I guess, when it comes down to the search and destroys.
Yeah.
There's kind of a number of different things to look out
Sounds
for this
delicious.
SD, but really teams clutching up when they should on defense. That one of the most notable.
Up and now, gonna hop into this round. London, they decide to be aggressive towards this B point. The only thing is they're not trying to rush towards this bomb plant. They want to make sure that they're eliminating any players out of ticket booth, but Decimate throwing those tacticals out of that side room. Gonna give him his positioning. But now Surge, they have their hands full on how they want to try to retake this. The bomb is eventually gonna get planted. Zed is slowly gonna creep into this bomb, but he's able to spot 2 players going in towards ticket booth. Just trying to take their time. Seattle, they just keep on giving them information, stalling this plant. In London, they don't know what to do yet. They're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, not common positioning on Express. Like, how often do you get to kind of just hang out for the B-bomb in a position like this one? The nice jump shot coming through from Prestini is at least able to even out the numbers for now. As what has been a slow offensive push from London, just based off of not planting the bomb yet. Could start to hurt them. Especially if this next kill can be granted for the Surge, as Prestini's position is known. The nice trade though from Octane. Meanwhile, it's Decimate on the flank. He's able to see both players. They can't find the shots. He can't win the fight, and it's going to be London cleaning up the final 2. What looked like a very questionable position on the offense. They hesitate, but they still are able to secure it. And of course, it's Shawnee. Shawnee Mate with the final 2 kills.
Shawnee Mate.
Yeah, it was once Octane got that kill to turn it into a 2v2. I would have liked him to see him play his life a little bit better. Just stalled enough time for Decimate to eventually hit the flank, potentially get that 2-piece. But once it turns into a 2v1,
what was map 3?
Short shots onto the first player, and then the double challenge comes in. London, they
no,
just capitalized
no, it's
on that.
not,
Even though they took
weirdo.
their sweet time on never pointing that
What was
bomb,
map 3? Because I know it was Moscow, it was Express,
and
then map 4 is Apocalypse.
Another play over at A, but the quick shots.
Garrison, that's what it was. Thank you.
All's able to drop first down. Decimate just continuing. Gonna get dropped in some of these major opportunities, these big gunfights. A great job out of London to get him out for now. And he just slowly but surely crawled like a caterpillar through the trades. Takes some time, but could be granted a nice situation. Does he spot the head of Zed? Does Zed even know he's there? I think Prestini does now. Zed not too certain with him, but London just utilizing those numbers right now here in the D.
Yeah, they're just taking their time. And the positioning out of the Ravens players, this is going to be such a difficult plant to try to get on this A site. Trophies are down. With 30 seconds remaining, Seattle have to either make or break this push, and they're cutting right through the little map. This might catch London players completely off guard. They're going to be able to get this B plant down with no problem. So now the 3v4 for the Ravens. They have to try to retake this with Gunless. He's still being that island player at that A side by himself. He's going to be able to take down one, so that's going to force a couple players to turn around, but he's read the second one as well, able to take down Zed. So now turned it into a 2v2 with Shawnee picking up that one. Octane able to spot out Zaptius. They know exactly where Shawnee is, left in the 2v1 situation. versus Octane and Gunless. This is a pretty difficult task. 10 bullets left in the gun. Gunless making the play, throwing the shoulders, staying alive for his teammates in the surge. In the 3v4 offensive push, they come out on top.
Yeah, man. And really, like I said, well-deserved.
The fact that they literally just said fuck it and ran right to the middle of the map and nobody saw it out of Ravens was pretty hilarious.
Seattle make the bold call to try to go for the rotation. Well, I guess you could say not really a bold call, just kind of given that the way that the A site was locked down, but really they just make the right play, and then from there, Gunless, smart effort out of him. Because now we are tied at 2-2. Again, offense 4 for 4 so far. We'll see if London can make it a 5th straight. As everybody runs right to the line set of Prestini. Octane, it is a shooting gallery here as the round can't even keep up with how fast-paced this one is. Seattle 4 up and 4 down.
And that's where I was expecting you, Landon, to just go, Octane, the human turret. The guy did not miss any shots right here with that Krieg. Able to take down 3, barely getting bullets into himself, and able to close out the very first defensive round so far of the map. Is going to go in favor of the Surge. And with Octane picking up those 3, he's currently going to be sitting at a 5 spree, 2 away from picking up some score streaks.
Is that what I sound like? The human turret. Is that what I sound
Kill
like?
streaks. Yeah, the human turret.
Human turret.
Like the human torch, but human turret.
I sound like Rich. I got to change up my voice a little bit. I change some things up. I don't like the way this is going. Oh man, we got to change some things up. It's just a cool name, like the Human Turret. Like that's one of the best names. I tweeted out the other day. I said I want people to kind of give me nicknames. And no one really tweeted at me anything. No creativity. We need some nicknames here in the scene. We need. I guess what? Shining's a construction man. There's a lot of room for improvement. Let's put it that way.
Definitely, but now in this 4v4 retake, London have to try to get in with 30 seconds left, and the way that Surge is playing is they're not giving up anything free. But Octane, unfortunately, is going to overpeak that window. And he's going to get first blooded, but the time is still ticking. Ravens players have to get someone on towards the bomb site. Gunless is going to be low bricks, and his teammate's going to be there to help him. That's going to be 3 down for the Ravens. All left up to Zed in the 1v3. Able to spot both, but the Surge, once again, able to walk away with another offensive win. Puts them up 4-2 on the map.
And I guess this is kind of probably the most, or rather maybe the situation that I take away the most from that round is just
somebody named Chiefy.
Right, that's kind of what you want to see.
Yep.
Yes, Vince. You said that you were
just your SMG in general, right? Despite maybe not always being the player to jump out first.
The fuck?
Somebody who's always there to greet you with the team shots.
Somebody see Decimate's fucking.
It looks like it maybe fell over on his desk. Is he all right?
Yeah. Somebody see his camera over there. What the hell?
Fine. It looks like his. Did you see that, Stud? His camera was just sitting right on the desk.
I did not see that. I did not see that. Decimate is a great player, though.
This is getting hype, you know? Maybe the camera just
they
fell
find
over.
themselves up 4-2 on this map number 2. I like the way that London are playing their offensive round. It's like they're going to try to commit towards this A site again. But Surge, they're getting all that information. That no noise is going to be over towards this B site. But I expect number 1, which is going to be Octane, to just keep his positioning. And they're waiting for the call-outs to come in from Gunless. Morris, we got a Gunless as well. He's trying to work towards some streaks, but London, they're just taking their time on this offensive push.
Phone's ringing. Who's going to pick it up first? It will be Gunless. The 5 spree. Now in for Big P. 6-2. And the nice shots from Prestini. The headshot on DePaul.
Seattle win this map.
Now it's a quick 2 versus 4. London in a world of pain. Zaptius does get greeted with some shots. He has to back up with 25 seconds left. They know exactly where this bomb is looking to go down. Zaptius getting met with a fistful of fury. Really, what can London do in this situation? Zed, unfortunately, not able to provide too much. There goes Zap, and it will be Seattle up 5 rounds to 2, and what is, I believe, their 4th round in a row. Perfectly in sync right now.
Yeah, Seattle, they're just taking their time. They're taking control of that B bomb site, and once they gain all that information, the way that London are playing the offensive rounds is that they're going really slow towards A, so they're not giving any information to Gunless as he's watching the players try to cross towards bomb. They're just taking their time, so Seattle know that eventually we have to rotate back, and their only commitment is going to be towards that opposite bomb site. They open up with the first blood, and eventually all the kills go in their favor, and they close out the round. So that's 2 defensive rounds for the Surge, 3 offensive. They find themselves up 5-2, 1 round away from closing this out. But early, Zed is going to be changing up his positioning, being aggressive towards Train, able to get the first blood.
talk about it constantly, right? Your SMGs, or rather kind of your more fast-paced players. They can be the difference maker. I know we talked about Prustini and the keys, but Zed very well could just have that exact same kind of point brought up about him. Whenever he is lighting it up, causing problems, just even changing up his positioning, just being annoying, Octane will be able to deal with him. Just make all the difference. But yeah, for the early attack over at A, it appears to be a rotation now over at B. Is Gunless not babysitting the bomb carrier yet? Maybe still hunting for that 6th kill in a row. Meanwhile, London ready for the attack, ready for the opposition as Shawnee does get caught out. Meanwhile, will be a trade. All now left in a 1 versus 2. Gunless does in fact earn the artillery. Gonna go for the ping and utilizing.
They're hauling ass to fucking A now.
That bomb's gonna be planted any second.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 2v1. Great rotation right there out of the surge to rotate towards that A site. Now, Paul X, he has to do double the trouble. This is a nice little sneaky angle I've never seen before. But, you know, people surprise us every day, even on maps that are 20 years old. But Paul X, 30 seconds remaining in this 2v1 situation. They should try to eliminate both. And the way that Gunless and Decimator are playing, they're just holding each other's pockets, playing for this trade. But he's able to find both. Just like that, the Surge are able to close it out in the search and destroy. 6-2 and tie the series up 1 apiece.
Yeah, and we talk about it constantly, right? What a big map this one instantly was for the Surge, just kind of given how those controls went from time to time. But it's really Gunless who I think kind of steals the show in that search and destroy stat. Yeah. Obviously, he earns the artillery, doesn't have to call it in necessarily, but the ping is able to help them secure that final round. Is really just kind of dominance being displayed from this Seattle team, and look, kind of the woes in search and destroy only continue for London as they are now 2-5 in stage 3. And I know that final Moscow has not treated them oh so kindly if we were to see a second search and destroy in this series study, but that's the perfect way to rebound if you are Seattle, with what Octane and Gunless leading the way.
Yeah, perfect way to rebound, like you said, man. Tied 1-1 and you're going into your worst game mode. This is the best case scenario right now for the Surge. They're able to walk away with this control, then that'll be a miracle. But who knows, man? It's going to be a great battle in that map number 3. Surge right there, they just really capitalized on their offensive rounds. They won 4 offensive rounds on that map number 2. And that's really difficult to do on a map like Express because you know how they can take control of that B-bomb site. It can be a full-out, just 4-hit all-out.
Yeah, but London played that Surge very poorly.
So the way that Seattle were doing it, they were taking their sweet time on A and wrapping those bombs. That was one thing that they were doing excellent every single offensive push.
Hey man, you're breaking down some excellent rounds. What do we have to take a look at and try to remember the best we can? Of course, is our U.S. Army tactical play. This one coming in round number 5, and really I believe that this round kind of comes down to the early plays out of Octane. Again, the ARs, they were problematic, and they just lined up for the human turret. I call it the human turret.
Yeah, and this is one of those rounds right here that London will never try again, because they decided to completely blind counter the Surge right there. But when Octane's hitting shots like that, he's basically killing your play and killing your confidence to ever try to go towards that B-bomb site ever again. They get the job done there. Mr. Human Turret, like you said, getting the 3 pieces good for Mr. Sam LaRue. Tied 1-1 at the series.
Yeah, as you said, man, a big map for Seattle as they bring us now to a 1-1 scoreline. Again, still a lot on the line in this Group B as we prepare for that Stage 3 major. When we come back, it is Gary Control. Make sure stay with us.
We've come a long way, paid our dues, measured by the scoreboard. We've taken the battlefield as brothers, as friends, as champions, as kings. We didn't come to play esports. We came to define it.
Why do we fight? The true question is...
Wait, what?
Is worth fighting for?
Why?
Brian, you know what I'm doing victory now.
Call of Duty League is brought to you by GameFuel. Use code CDL 2021 for a special discount on GameFuel.com. Tournament audio and team listen-ins are powered by Astro Gaming. The official
I don't know, it's kind of difficult for me because it's like, I mean, what? So Seattle's like 0-11 in the last 11 controls, but London is like what, 3-14 in controls or something? Like it's fucking stupid.
By visiting zenny.com/gaming.
Well, Seattle, they get the job done.
I don't know. I mean, it's difficult. Seattle really has not had the best control. Like they don't know what to fucking do. But then, but London has had some issues in the past too with control. They just have recently gotten a little bit better.
Really, just so far throughout the entirety of the CDL, how do you think he is going to continue to fit with this team?
I think his impact on this team is going to be huge because obviously when they had Looney on his team, one thing that they were lacking in was just the slaying department. Looney was going to be, he was that player throughout the entire CDL who was dead last out of all the players in every single stage. So when they make that change, they want to pick up Decimate so he can pick up a lot more kills and help Pristini out with the playmaking, with some great search and short play, but also some great slaying when it comes to that control game mode. Decimate, you know, he was in the CDL last year under
Oh no, it's
LG,
tough.
and he finds himself in challenges at the beginning of this year, and he's been dominant.
They've got it in the odds that this is
calls
London's
guy
map.
here, and the guy's just on point. He's basically a superhero out there. So
They have
the
it on
Surge,
Bovada right
obviously,
now.
They had a tough matchup versus
That
Atlantic
it's
FaZe,
London's map
and it's not really
because they've
the
got
one
London
to
with
go
the
against.
bigger
They
odds.
have a new roster, but in this series right here, now that the series is tied 1-1, this is one that I expect Decimate to come out and really show his slaying ability on a map like Garrison Control.
I want to ask you too, like, and I guess maybe the question could be answered just based off a few of the listings that we have, maybe excluding the Game 1 Hardpoint listing with Seattle.
I don't know. I got $2 left, so I'm putting them on. I'm putting them on London.
I mean, we just talked about his ability to be such a great veteran, especially in the comms, like his ability to kind of be the play caller.
Seattle's 3-4, London's 3-3. I'm doing London.
Maybe even on control from time to time. Like, who do you think is the guy?
You better hurry. You only got about 5 seconds left before you're not gonna be able to.
Especially in the communication side of things.
I think communication, now that
Yeah, I did London.
Here, when we went to previous listenings, it was always Looney and Gunless who basically stole the show. So now that Looney's
How much you
not
put
here,
in,
Gunless
Chief?
has to be that main voice, and we saw it in that Search and Destroy.
You did not.
I wonder who called out that rap back towards that B-bomb site, and then for him to be that island player, he has to be feeling really confident and just step up in that leading role.
Is that his last name, really, or no?
And Decimate play. Decimate, he's
Or
not going
first
to become
name?
the leader. He's brand new to the team. Octane, he's always just trying to focus on his gameplay. He can definitely be the leader, but you need the human turn to just be on point. So Gunless has to definitely lead the pack for this.
I don't even know.
I guess, like, when we talk about, you know, just the ability to kind of be that.
Oh, they're absolutely stacking the shit. Shawnee, there's no shot you knew that he was fucking there, bro.
Kind of being at
Stop
times
aimbotting.
majority vocal leader, kind of the caller. Maybe at times can maybe take a hit on your stats.
It definitely could take a hit, but in the comms, when your team is on point, everyone is communicating. When you are in a situation where you're in a hole and you need to bounce back, that's when
nobody's
you
on
all
B
listen to
with
one
fucking
voice.
Shawnee
When your team's on point,
or
the
Zaptius.
communication should just be equally between every single player and just continue on forward.
Yeah, I'm just eager, right? I'm eager to see what this search.
They're trying to do what Toronto does, where Toronto will put like one man on the point and then the other three out slay, and it's like, London, you don't have the skill for that.
Pretty well so far at this B point, but really once Gunless gets wiped off the
not
map,
that, it's just they don't have the skill.
With that map positioning, that solo gunfight win is going to earn Zaptius that control point over at B. And like the last few times we've got to watch Garrison Control has been played a little bit more as teams look to expand the map pool and whatnot. Offense just doesn't seem to be as difficult maybe as time has gone on. Do you think that has to do with maybe the patch change-ups with obviously the 8 point, or do you think that maybe it's just teams learning how to play it better?
No, it's definitely teams just learning how to play, because at the beginning of the game, people were flooding out of top green. That's definitely not the way you want to do it. But now you see multiple teams, like we saw yesterday, Atlanta FaZe versus the Surge. They were just consistently just hitting towards bricks. And this is one problem that the Surge were able, that they couldn't hold on, was that when they gave up this early B point and they had to focus on A, they were able to just let a couple kills just chain, a pinch comes in, and Surge were able to spawn all the way out. They just weren't able to get a good hold. And right now, you see the way that London, they're all kind of go around the back.
That's what you get, Zaptius, for not fucking reloading your goddamn weapon.
He's the only player here, but Surge, they're doing such a well better job.
I just saw that,
by
yeah.
itself, because the way Atlanta just took 4 players to just push it out at once, 4 dead, and eventually the point was captured. But so far, Seattle Surge, they're definitely showing improvements.
Octane on the flank with an SMG. All right, no problem.
I did not expect that
no
jump
issue
up.
whatsoever. Octane 7-4 on the 3 spree, makes the big flank. And there is going to be a player just below Pristini right now. That being Zed. Tries to use the trigger discipline, but it's
Zed. I get trigger discipline, but shoot the fucker.
There's 54 seconds left. If you're London, you got to make a play soon. They are down quite a bit right now in that life count, 12 to 6. Octane still on the flank, does pull out that trusty Krig. Ends things up in a 5 spree, but without a doubt, his presence has been felt. As everybody on London now down to their final lives, 10-3. Shawnee will at least extend his life for now. And really just based off the lives, this one looks to be secured by the Surge. No points yet. The flanks continue to cause problems as now it's Pierce's turn.
Yeah, the last player has to just try to flood out to get towards that point. It's going to be Zed, but Seattle, they're going to do a great hold on that A point for at least 2 minutes on the clock, and that was the adjustment that they needed to make, because last time we saw these guys play Atlanta FaZe, they sent 2 players around the back, they had 2 players push around from the front, and eventually they got every single kill, and that's where the Surge, they continuously put themselves in a hole, but coming out on top in that defensive round is going to be great for the Surge, because we know how easy offense can be nowadays, because teams have really just adapted to how they need to play. Getting control of this early point at early point at B, extending this time by a minute, and then just timing those kills together. Taking control of bricks is exactly what you want to do. And so far, the Surge, starting off 1-0, this is great because they've been on a 5-game loser spree in just control alone.
I was going to say for a moment, we were taking a look at that final play of the round, and I was getting ready to call, oh, proceed with a nice flank. I'm like, oh yeah, that was Octane. Yeah, Octane actually had the 74U out, believe it or not. Makes it work incredibly well as he'll find the first blood. Again, not a stat or really a point that we bring up constantly.
They're stacking fucking A right now.
Control. Those first bloods are nearly just as valuable as the early onslaught happens towards A. London trying to deal with a lot of that pressure.
and Pollex said, fuck off my point.
Get dealt with. Back to the respawn screen he goes, and for the time, London are able to wipe away every single bit of progress toward that A point. Nice start from Seattle, but the risky call over toward A is not able to come on through. Zaptius is continuing to be a problem through the middle side of the map. London is looking to kind of station themselves in tricky position.
Yeah, and I didn't really like that push from the Surge. Like, when they got out towards that A point, you had Decimate who just immediately tried to go straight in towards bricks, and he just got caught out by Shawnee, and then they weren't able to extend his time, and this is something that the Surge have been struggling with on their offensive rounds, just trying to figure out which point they want to go to and how aggressive to play. Right there, once they drop those players, they give, once again, map control to the Ravens. Now with 15 seconds left, you have no ticks. Keep that in mind, no segments captured. So if it does go to a round 5, London do have that advantage by just taking that B point nice and early.
Okay.
And also winning a lot of these
Pollex deadass just said fuck
they're
off
able
me.
to tie it up with another great defensive hold right
Not
there.
even a single
Ravens
tick
now,
for fucking Surge.
And they try to bounce back and do the same thing they did on the very first round. The only thing is that London, their guns are a little scary, man. They capped that point nice and early at that B point, and it's all about just trying to set up for that 2-minute hold once again.
With the SMGs have been the problem so far on this Garrison, my friend. Just Pollex, I think he's just whipping his analog stick back and forth, just trying to dodge the bullets the best way he can. I'm not sure how effective that is, but clearly it's working out decently well. I thought that Shawnee was on the spree. I was getting ready to call out that I was interested to see how Shawnee plays kind of his next life, but the scorecard indicates that he did drop just before the round had ended. So he was sitting on 5, so that's a big kill that Seattle was able to find. As we discussed how important the streaks can be, especially from time to time, how neck and neck this control has been off the rip. But it's now London's opportunity to see exactly what they can do on the offense. Off the rep, they do issue majority of their forces at that B point. Dallas causing some problems toward top green, is able to distance them out for now, but here comes a major team fight win, and it's Zaptius who's able to drop 2.
Yeah, and they're trying to just keep the pressure on towards this B point. You see the SMA trying to push through low rails, able to take down Shawnee. But they have some early progression on towards A. Pacini's able to eliminate Zed there. Now Seattle, they're trying to gain for more map control, trying to push up, being more aggressive, and put London in that spawn trap. With Decimate running around the middle of the map, picking up kills left and right. Fortunately, 2 players are going to drop. Gunless almost gets turned on right there from Shawnee. Zed is there for the trade. Now it's all about just trying to take some more bridge control. But with everyone going down right now for the Ravens, Zed's life is the most important. Just stay alive, just try to be a nuisance on the map. Try to set up your team to make a play. With him shooting right there, he's going to give up his positioning. 48 seconds remaining on his clock. A first segment is completed on this B point. And London, they just need to try to extend this time because every kill right now is going in favor of the Surge.
It is indeed. Ringing the dinner bell. That's to be 3. Nearly make it 4 in a row. And a Seattle. Well, no, actually, yeah, you can make it more than 4 in a row. They're sitting on a 7 spree right now as a team. Or 6 spree as a team. Can I add? Nope. Apparently not. Octane drops toward P3. All we really need to know is that London are between a rock and a hard place. They've got to make a play, and Zed very well could be the man to do so. He drops 15 seconds on the clock, and if you're London, you just got to go. You got to get something brewing, as it appears the A point will be their target for the moment. Decimate wins the nice fight. They're on to Paul. Zed just trying to keep things afloat. As the Cavalry looks to try and arrive out of that green point.
Yeah, Seattle's gonna win the round, but they got 1 tick at least. So the
only
way that Seattle wins on
London,
what's it?
They make anything happen as they look to issue a few players toward vent. All drops from the front. Johnny and Zap left on the point. 1.5 seconds on the clock, but they are gonna line up there for Prestige.
Yeah, so they got 1 tick. So fucking Seattle, the only way that they actually get defense for round 5 is they have to fucking cap all, or they'd have to at least cap 2
and they come in today
2 ticks on the second play.
A completely different game. Like, these are 2 defensive wins where they have just been able to fight for that map control and not get trapped in the base, and that's just something. Obviously, Atlanta faces a completely different roster. They got a little more firepower on that side. But Seattle Surge is doing such a great job at winning a majority of those gunfights on the back of their ARs. Gunless and Octane currently having a great map, and this is something that we talked about in the first map.
Jesus,
is where
man.
We saw
the team itself is on a 9 spree right now.
Over. And right now, on the side of the Surge, those ARs are
If this was based on lives instead of ticks, fucking London would be screwed for round 5.
ARs from one side feasting, the others, the ones on the other side just not having a great start, but all that can quickly be turned around. They can walk away with this round.
How upset are you gonna be if they lose?
Top green, as he will fall. So the early push out of Seattle, thwarted for the moment. This could be the round that snaps the 5-game losing streak. All of Seattle's wins, right, despite that control record, have all been on Garrison. 3 and 14. Well, they've got 3 dubs. Can they make
Seattle's
it a 4th?
finally got a tick on fucking God knows
Big run nonetheless. Is Gunless trying to apply pressure from a multitude of different angles.
It's definitely going map 5 for sure.
He's in a nice angle, but really,
or it's definitely going round 5 at
join
least.
Alongside of him.
Decimate's gonna be screwed. He's got 3 of sweating. Motherfucker, it was $2.
I just love what Decimate's doing. Unfortunately, he's going to drop out of it right there out of top green, but he opened up that B point for his teammates to eventually get some more map control. So now with 30 seconds remaining, they do have
Pristini just took a nade to the face.
Shawnee's able to get onto Gunless. And now you see Seattle. They had to try to fight for some more control. The way that London are set up right now, they have control of top green. They have control of lights. Forcing all of Seattle to try to get on towards this B point, but
why do you
want
to
be sending 3 towards top green. This guy has to play his life, but unfortunately he's going to drop, so they're going to be able to take control and stop that clock by hopping onto that A point.
Gotta be so careful with it. Pristini looks to go and give it up. Maybe they try to now push at the other side. It appears to be the case. Pristini,
he did not. He just got benched.
Quick little 1 versus 2 fight. 5 seconds left on the
weird,
clock as Octane
weirdo.
look to try to hold it down for now. Can Seattle get off of spawn in time, as that time really just continues to be a factor, and they will not be able to hop on it as London are able to go big and send us now to a round 5. Oh boy, we talked about for Surge. And they snap the streak, and they find their 4th win in control.
Oh shit, my mic was muted because I was taking a piss.
Continue. Walk away with the response.
No, and Dylan didn't die. He just got benched, little fucker.
Well, they're gonna have to figure it out because London, I'm pretty sure, are gonna end up on that defensive
Well, I mean,
side.
yeah, I
They
guess,
captured
you
more
know,
segments on their very
not
first
being able to
offensive
play.
push by completing that beat point.
Bro,
by
fucking
themselves.
Paul X is
And now Surge, they have to
14
try
and
to win an
25.
offense where they
Holy
haven't been able
shit.
to do so the entire bat. So what initial break off are they gonna try to go for here? They have a couple players pushing up the middle of the map. See the way the Ravens are playing. They're taking their time, being a little safety net on towards that 8-point, making sure
I
no
was
one's
thinking 1 and
aggressive towards
5.
there. But the way the Ravens have been playing their defensive rounds, they're consistently keeping control of top green.
Paul X is not helping the
Yeah,
team
Zapti's
right now, that's
said
for
when he's
sure.
running around being nuisance. Zapti's able to take down Decimate with that first blood. Eventually, trades are going to come in. Gunless going back and forth. That's going to be 3 down, but Octane is able to win that engagement out towards top green, so he's able to get onto this 8-point and stop that clock.
You saw instantly, right? Once that trade came in, once London did find Decimate trying to go early instead of bricks.
Zed tried getting under the tank and fucking mantled over
the
it.
other side. Paul X able to drop 2, so that at least will dilute.
Yeah, but Octane still was on the fucking point. Jesus, Paul, chill out.
Triple. Coming through from Paul, and the only problem from Octane is he's the only player over at A, despite how long he's been alive.
Octane's like, yo, I'm 1v3ing everything. Can you guys fucking live and not let Paul X slaughter you?
Away as a major play. Comes in from London. Paul continues to snap.
Paul said, fuck off, man.
Shuts down Prestini. Octane finally able to take him down off the
Oh, he
heater.
definitely said that.
35
From that
seconds
1v3, he
left.
100% was like, yo, get
Gotta
off me
some
nuts.
work done as Decimate from top green. Looking to give the calls, give that communication out. Just continuing to be a nuisance to the middle side of the map. It's been a great game so far.
Oh, they're stacking B,
25
Jesus.
and 20. Seattle halfway there.
Yeah, but now that's going to be 2 dead, so Gunless and Decimate have their hands full. They have to try to go big. Decimate, he's going to be the only player far pushed up. But once again, the Ravens, they break through. They take map control. Now it's all about keeping the pressure on for the Surge while they try to rotate out of the spawn. With 15 seconds remaining, the Surge no.
Wait, Gunless got streaks? When?
Eventually going to come in from Gunless. He's going to give all those comps to his teammates, but you need to win a majority of these gunfights. You cannot get first blooded, but a trade is going to come in onto Shawnee with that. That's going to be another 2-piece from Paul X on the flank, trying to go for the 3rd, and with a minute left, Gunless has to get on point, but Paul X with the 3-piece to end out the game. London.
Pristini's about to start crying again, dude. Pristini's already crying.
Number 3.
Holy crap, dude. The series is only 2-1. Why are you crying?
London find themselves up 2-1.
Oh my God, Paul! Again.
Bro, Pristini is such an emotional-ass player,
Such
man,
an
honestly.
issue with the SMG. Wins the big 1v1 fight there versus Gunless, and nobody is there for the trade. As you saw the quick little instant reaction out of Seattle, just frustrated, man. They're frustrated with that loss. I'm not sure if, Pristini's maybe giving a call out of like, we should have done this, or maybe I should have done something differently. Regardless, that record
I wanted
now
to get rid of
3
Looney
and
and Pristini if it was me.
Back-to-back losses
Honestly.
with Decimate in the lineup in the control. Granted, it was close. You cannot doubt that. It was close, but their 6th straight loss.
You say
they are just hunting for their first win.
every stage in under 5
They
seconds. I'm
haven't
so
won a
done with you.
control study. It's April 8th. It's April 8th.
It's still not possible. No person can talk that fast.
This is my new place. That's a really long time, man.
Oh man, that is not solid. But man, Paul, he turns around. Well, he's like 12 and 21 at some point, ends out 22 and 28. Just a problem on the map. 4,700 damage. What
Yeah, I was
Shawnee
gonna say, man.
puts through
I'm a
5K
chatterbox,
there
but I know
for
for
the
a fact I
dub.
don't talk that fast.
Oh man, stud. I mean, let's talk about that.
I
Garrison,
love
that
how
was your best
Pristini was the one that was getting
opportunity
worked
for Seattle,
up, man, and
Decimate
he was
in
the only
lineup,
one
but that
negative
was
on
your
Seattle.
chance to go
All the other players were
You got
actually
that
positive.
guaranteed Moscow search and destroy waiting for you at the end, but that very well may have just turned the series on its head.
Yeah, it really did, man. Because when Octane made that play on towards that
I'm
point,
sorry.
Paul X doesn't
What
get
language
that
were
chance
you
on the
trying to
outside of the
speak?
map.
Because
Seattle probably are able to secure one of these points, and they are able to extend that time.
dude.
But when that play happens, Paul X in that very last round, he was just making play after play after play, and Seattle just didn't have an answer for him.
Oh man, they do not have an answer. Can Seattle regain now coming into game 4? Is this where London get the job done? Or can the Surge force us to a game 5, as it will be hardpoint on Apocalypse? Both teams have yet to be defeated on APOC, but somebody is gonna end up having that record with a nice little L next to it. Once this game is up and underway, as we'll have it ready for you right after our break.
They say I've been lucky, but ambition is not luck. It's a choice. My name is Cesar Skies Bueno, and I chose to invest in my game.
It's time.
Magic. Oh, I'm so in.
Bro, he straight up lies, honestly. It's not even factual. You said, fucking Apocalypse is London's map, right? I think I'm still going London. I think I'm going London, and I'm gonna do the 3-1 because it's the... Actually... I don't know. That's the problem. I just don't know. It is not, bro, because that dude literally sounds like he's getting like a finger up his ass and then he's enjoying it. And then on top of that, I've never played custom lobbies, so you can go fuck yourself. And then on top of that, I can't help the fact that I have to literally drag Chief's ass with one hand every game, okay? Definitely not me. I don't know what the fuck you talking about. Yeah, that's true, actually. Honestly, League play can lick my balls.
Welcome back, folks, to the final day of the Dallas home series. As you get to see the reactions to the closeout there on that Garrison Control London. There's some happy campers on the Surge side. Not exactly the same, as again, that control just continues to be a problem for Seattle, as what the record now sitting at 3-15. Not great, obviously, if you are a Seattle fan. As now we take a look at our quick scope presented by
Yeah, it's bad.
Scuff. What's that? We've got to see the hard points already as we kind of take a little bit of an outlook on where both of these teams are.
Yeah, okay. It's non-existent, thank you very much.
They have a good performance at the control. They make some good plays, but just in general, it's a hard loss, without a doubt.
I've got to go London because if London loses this, they're gonna lose in Moscow, 100%.
Play after play after play to just ruin every single push that Seattle was trying to get done, and now they find themselves down 2-1 in the series, going into an Apocalypse hardpoint where both of these teams are currently sitting at 3-0. But every time I think about Apocalypse hardpoint for Seattle, I'm always looking at Brasini because I remember that one game that he had 25 and
I'm doing London. I'm doing London.
Submachine gun being a god.
I'm going Big Dick Energy, and I'm just gonna bet the last $3.50 I have for.
And when we take a look at the stats through that map number 1,
wait, why can't I?
Sling doesn't really kind of tell the story. Maybe outside of Shawnee, but
oh, it's minus 105 now.
85-0 run, something crazy.
We're on map 4, dumbass.
Like a 250 to 60 game. But Surge, they're able to kind of bring it back a little bit toward the end. But overall,
that wasn't called for, you little slut.
Stud, can I give you a trivia question?
I did London.
This is going to be a very difficult trivia question, but if you get this one exactly
honestly, if you're going to bet London, just bet the 3-1. Okay, because it's even. But you need to do it now because the game's about to start.
You get it exactly right, I'll give you $100 right now.
2.5.
1.54.
He's saying that because he just lost money against or he lost money on the last game.
Hey, you know what? Maybe we'll do it again.
Guys have got it in the back.
I'm sure everybody in the chat just probably just spammed it with numbers. Somebody probably got it. But what, moral of the story, Pristini's just dominant on Apocalypse. Dominant Apocalypse. Really, both teams sitting quite pretty on this map. As we said, my friend, both teams.
Oh, they're looking at that flank that fucking London are doing, man. They're just going all the way around.
Now they'll duel it. Test their wits.
Oh, okay, Pollux. Nice killing your buddy in the back.
If you are London, Zap frustratingly sit back to the respawn screen. Seattle with those preferred spawns, though, and really, that's the emphasis considering. We've got an early push now being made through Broken. But it's Zap and Paul, really after the team kill, they join hands and say, all right, time to do it together. They're trying to contest for the early time, and how about Zap?
Wow, the movement out of Zap right now, Jesus.
That will guarantee them spawns for the moment, despite the time being granted for Surge inside of the
Oh my god, London spawned so far out.
Yeah, London is thinking long term, but the only thing is, Octane is ready to push through Broken. You're going to force 2 players from London to spawn all the way across the map. Eventually, they're able to find him. The second player is able to come up as well. In London, they do a great job.
Stevie or Decimate almost kills himself. Yep.
Teammates up. Make sure you play the correct trades and keep those spawns for this back tempo. So now
somebody get on the fucking point, London. Jesus.
Get back into this game, and if you're the Surge, you had those spawns right off the rip. But the Ravens, they make that play, push through Broken. Zach picks up 3 in the kill feed, so he's gonna be on the 3 spree right now. Trying to locate the 4th, but unfortunately Decimate is gonna find him. But him being that far pushed up is so great for his team to try to change this lead up. But as I say that, 2 players are gonna push to the front side, and Seattle are in.
And you may be thinking, was that maybe a little bit too aggressive of a push as a major 1v1, despite London having a few players off of spawn? That's really the overall difference maker and what earns them the remainder of the time now at Temple. Zap, by the way, has yet to die.
I heard, yeah. He's on a 5.
Early on, but that's really what is the only thing that stopped him. Taking some early shots.
Bro, I'm telling you, every time I call it's on a 5, they die. Every time. Every fucking time. He's on a 5. He died.
Major fights
oh my god, bro.
London here first. They've got the man count in their hands right now.
Yeah, London are gonna be.
Chiefy, I hit the lav man made it even better.
But you see what they're trying to do? Push out these spawns, but kills are going back and forth. Right now, the Surge are trying to break through low trenches, but Pristini might be able to make this play. Unfortunately, a couple
nope, Pristini doesn't make shit because he doesn't know how to play the game.
They force all of Seattle to be spawning out towards back P5.
Pristini is not as good as people think he is. They need to call, like, our cities is way better.
Can be a full 60. You see number 2? Oh. There's no way I'm giving this one up. Got to make sure I'm winning this rotation because right now.
I think about it is like, so Pristini's the type of player. He's like, he reminds me of Slack. Him, Looney, Slack. Like there's those players where like they can really pop off, or like when they do pop off, they really do. But it's very rare to see it. It's never consistent. Seattle's, they really want those 3 seconds, dog. God damn.
Now we'll go ahead and listen in with London Royal Ravens for our Astro Listen In.
Trophy from what's your box? I
don't know what the fuck you just said.
He's on P2 stage, be quick. Let's go hill. He's waking to me, attack them. Push him out quick, I've got your P1, they cannot come from mid.
They're gonna be lower.
They can come behind me, step back, box. You can go P5, that is it.
Got it down right, yeah.
I want to go top,
They can be on you front already.
Yeah. P1 that time. P1 down. Jump top and one shot again. Oh, you got it. Got box.
I'm with Ali.
One more, for sure. Nothing box. One hit low.
I'm running it. Hold on, I'm pitching.
Come back out, one thing. I'm blocking.
I push all over.
I'm blocking now.
Runs to mid.
Let's see went back. Gonna go top TVs. Have your whole mid, just stack out when you spawn. Yeah. I'm shouldering low. I'm checking you. Nothing can.
Big T's up top TV.
I'm flashing that people, Sean. I flashed it. Have you made close?
Oh my god. One more top. I have one artillery.
I'll let you know if they're low. One hit low now. Gunless one shot.
Double him. I'm about to shoot. Come lay down, Alex. I picked it. There's 3 front.
Yeah. One to make for sure.
We're double aiming low.
Trophy low. Stacking time.
Yeah, I'm having it.
He's one shot. Mission one. He's low 100%. Stop pushing out. I'm rotating as well.
You can be able.
You go.
Yep, we kill him. Copy 3, there's 2 there.
Yeah, it's 2. Take time. Don't peek it. One is low with a Krieg. Yeah, can someone right below me here?
I'm going left.
Wait, Poe, you want to try and double hit left there?
Yeah, I can streak you. I'm gonna streak.
I'm one shot. Hold on. I'm in.
Well, it started off like it was going to be a totally different story from the Moscow, and now it seems that we're kind of in a similar position to where we were last hardpoint.
Yeah, it's just not good from the Surge. So far, this is 2 hardpoints where they're rotating early towards these new points. But
yeah, that's literally Study's like, yeah, it's kind of looks a little similar, like a little familiar.
On map number 1, and now they find themselves on map number 4 doing the same exact thing. Right there towards the end of that P3, when we first went into that listening, they were able to rotate towards that P4 and flip those spawns. So Surge is all spawning towards Broken. They get a full 60 on that, and they keep the back spawns.
I mean, honestly, they could take the rest of this time and then just say, hey, Surge, you can have that fucking hill. We don't give a damn.
Set up for this P1. They're trying to fight for those spawns, but they don't really need to at this point. You're about to break that 200-point mark. And the Surge, they have to just start playing perfect Call of Duty right now. The Surge, they're looking really bad in hardpoint, just simply off the rotation, man. Dying
oh my god, bro. When Zed's piece of Octane now like that.
The Ravens is just capitalizing on it.
I mean, instead of Q3 straight, what's the issue with Surge right now? What's the primary culprit in the HPs? What's the thing that sticks out the most?
It's simple. It's every time, like, once they get to a new point, they're fighting 20 seconds. They're giving up this remaining dunk time. So they're setting themselves up properly for the next point. But as they're doing that, they're losing the engagements as the Ravens players are deciding to push through. Once they do that, once you're dying off the kill cam just like that, Ravens are able to break through. Now you're going to force, once again, the Surge to spawn
100 point, it better be a 200 or 200 point, honestly. This is worse than map 1.
Well, 30 points left. Again, this is for seeding, by the way. This is a big game. Yeah. Obviously, if London are able to take it, which, I'm sure if you were a betting man, you very much like their chances. As Zed, unfortunately, will get dropped from the back, but really, nonetheless, it will be Surge.
I mean, when you have Zapdy is 17-9, Pollux is 22-11. I mean, those two alone are double positive. It's like, Jesus.
In your favor. There's not many left for the Ravens, as that will be a nice early double. Now coming in towards Stilts, this very well could be where the game comes to an end. Can Seattle look
this
to try
game's
and
over
contest
with,
this?
dude. I'm glad I bet on
Pretty much
fucking
in the back
London.
of the base. Pretty much hesitation for that early push, as now they've got a few numbers. Zaptius wins the fight toward the lower side. Zaptius continues to win the fights, as that's going to be 3. Prestini, the last man alive, and he gets dealt with as well.
Zaptius
as
said,
the
"Get the
Surge
fuck off
now
me."
waving the white flag here in the hard point. 3 seconds left, and that is going to be a London victory.
And let me just tell you right now, my pickers are chalked. Just like that, man. The Ravens come out and just dominated both hard points,
Yeah, just
man,
slaughtered
in this
them
series.
in
It's
hard
basically
points.
100-point clubs on both sides, man.
I mean,
The
honestly,
Surge,
like,
they
Seattle
just
didn't even
come
show
to play
up,
these
dude.
game modes, man. They were just laid off the
I mean,
rotation.
they kind of showed up in the Surge, but then, like, the only reason they won that is just London didn't really play well at all.
Fully set up. You saw that Surge
But
players early
that really should have been a 3-0 from
to close
London,
it out
no
at
bullshit.
P3. But the Ravens players, Shawnee, sitting in the top middle window, gets 2, and then you see his teammate get the 3rd, and it spawns all of, once again, Seattle to spawn all the way at Broken. It's just really difficult. The entire time on both hard points, they were just playing from the back foot, and London, they just kept on capitalizing, holding their setups properly, gaining a majority of those kills, and that was just a great hard point series for the Ravens right there. Like you said, they had 2 tough series back-to-back, but to win a series like that, confidence has got to be through the roof going into the main.
Oh, without a doubt. And as we said, with that victory, of course, we're talking about Group B. It's been a difficult group, right, overall for both of these teams, but with that dub, it will cement London in the 5th seed and Seattle in the 6th seed, as what hard points were kind of the story of this game, as you said. Paul, I mean, you just list off the stats, like 21-9 for Zap, 23-14 for Paul. Really don't take anything away from London's stats. It's really on the latter side for Seattle. Just issues, man, and I tell you what, like, this is the 3rd lowest hard point score that we've seen this season, so what, 3rd most dominant. The first hard point very well could have been the exact same. Like, again, it was Seattle kind of for the stretch. I think London were playing for
Yeah, I got kicked from the call.
If my mind serves me right on the Moscow, like, both of these very well could have been hard point clubs. Both of these very well could have been, like, 80-point clubs, given the way this has gone,
man?
but you know what, we talk about Seattle, their problems in the control. Now
I'm gonna go ahead and take a shower, so I'm gonna put this You guys
Yeah,
in a short
it was
group.
terrible because obviously the control, that was the closest respawn that we had throughout this entire series. Went all the way down to round 5, but both hard points is not something that I was expecting from the Surge. Like I said, they were continuously playing from the backfield, and this is where that situation where you talked about it, Lando, was like dropping Looney and bringing in Decimate, that leader role to get you out of these certain situations. They just kept putting themselves on the back foot, and there was no one that was able to step up, obviously in the killing or the communication. No one that was a step ahead of the game, and that's why the scoreline looked the way it did, man. It was terrible from the Surge.
Definitely was. Like we said, a series that you don't want to remember too fondly. But now let's go and take a look at our scuff play of the game. I mean, if they're coming from these hard points, there's a number of different clips that you can choose from. But I believe we are going to be taking a look at Paul. Really, he was problem in really the last 2 respawns that we saw. He kind of closed out that round 5 in that garrison control, and then carried in that slaying lead here into the apocalypse.
Yeah, so this is the beginning, very first rotation of hardpoints. They were able to get that P3 and then rotate it over, spawn Seattle all the way at Broken, to chain that P4. And you see how aggressive they are towards top TV. Paul X getting a tremendous 2-piece to pick up that artillery strike. And now they're just growing such a lead. It's just really difficult for the Surge to try to fight back, because even when they try to push low trenches, that artillery got pinged. He's going to give out the call out. So everybody's trying to push front. They set up the team shots, and they hold another great 60. And like I said, London throughout stage 3, they've had some tough matchups. This is a tough group, but the fact that they were able to walk away with 2 wins in this group of play between these teams, man, you got to be feeling really good. Some tough matches throughout every single series, but confidence has got to be feeling good for the Ravens. Taking 2 wins, especially that one versus New York, still has me off guard. Good for them.
I was going to say, in those last few maps for London, those last few series actually looked pretty promising. The last 3 in general, about game 5 losses, etc. Now they get the dub here versus the Surge, and then now for Seattle, the road to the major isn't looking too good. Maybe going on a quick little exit off the highway. It's not pretty, my friend. Just 5 straight losses. Overall, kind of throughout the stage, they escaped with 4 map victories. Not so solid, but like we said, it's really today is all about the standings, right? How does everything kind of get solidified? Obviously, we have a big game going down later between FaZe and Optic, but really this matchup was all about who's going to get at least somewhat of an advantage toward the elimination side, be granted kind of a an earlier series. If we talk about things, obviously Surge could be starting in that elimination bracket round 1. London, they do get a nice little bye, but in general, my man, for Seattle, it is back to the drawing board. It is pretty much throw away everything and let's just start from scratch, I feel like, especially in those hard points.
Yeah, man, like just start from scratch in general when you talk about the respawns for these guys, because one thing that when we talked about is when they picked up Destiny, we expect those respawns to be better, to be able to slay with some of the top teams, and just right there, it was just every time they were just on the backfield. And look at this Astro Social soundboard, must win today versus FaZe. Got a great day of practice yesterday, just got to execute. And Formal's right on the money, man, right on the money. The last 2 series for Optic, they've lost 2 hard points in every single series, and that's just not good when you're talking about this team. When you talk about the Optic, from top to bottom, they have 4 of the best players to ever play Call of Duty. And it's all about just putting it together. And hopefully today versus such an intense match versus Atlanta FaZe, where a lot of things are on the line. The pressure, backs against the wall. Hopefully this is the Optic we all been waiting for throughout stage 3.
Yeah, man. Like I said, this has been a very heavily awaited series. Like we said, everything is kind of coming down to this final day, which is exactly what we love to see. Everybody desperately trying to fight for those top 3 seeds. As we said, this series is done. London, they get the victory. But hey, folks, there is still so many amazing games to come. As Formal, Matthew Piper has said on Twitter, he's ready to practice, possibly is ready to go here versus the Atlanta FaZe. That will be our series coming up next. Make sure to stay with us, folks, as it is going to be a banger rest of the day.
of Duty League is brought to you by GameFuel. Use code CDL2021 for a special discount on GameFuel.com. Tournament audio and team listenings are powered by Astro Gaming, the official headset and mix amp of Call of Duty League. The Call of Duty League is presented by Zenni, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Zenni Block's blue light protection glasses by visiting zenni.com/gaming.
This has been an unbelievable week of Call of Duty.
This was just absolutely insane.
It just still has me mind blown, man.
One of the craziest sequences I've ever seen in my life.
It's Wednesday, and it's the start of the major. The LA Thieves have come to play. Oh boy! The Thieves absolutely decimate Paris. There goes Scott, and it will be the Ultra taking down Optic Chicago.
What are you talking about, baby?
A devastating 3-0. Lose this, you go home.
Thieves 3-0 New York and keep the Cinderella story alive. A nail biter here in the map 4. FaZe? Yes! Oh, baby, a beezy. It is FaZe with the victory. FaZe will move in to top 3. And for Ultra, you still have a chance to battle on. You're not out of it yet.
Fans is going to get a quick contest and killed everyone. They killed all the Thieves. Toronto Ultra 3-0 in the series. For the Thieves, the honeymoon period is over.
Drop kick to the dome. Accuracy, they line up. They line up for accuracy and he wins it. Are you kidding? Accuracy with the ice.
Oh my god.
The Giants, the Titans, Atlanta FaZe. Can anyone take down the final boss? It is do or die time.
Kleenex, the best player in the world. Ultra, they continue on. Okay. Gosh. Ultra behind the brakes. Get to a grand final.
Atlanta FaZe, once they hit the go button, there is no stopping them. What happened? The greatest underdogs going into the tournament. They take the best team in the league the whole way. They truly are Ultra as your Major 2 champions, Toronto Ultra.
I don't know where to go.
Welcome to our T-Mobile drop game. We got a big one, a doozy, as we see the beautiful skyline of Dallas FaZe versus Optic. And Joe, I want to get right into talking about what's at stake. I mean, that's what's important here, right? As we get ready for the major, who's going to be in winners, who's going to be in losers. Take me through it.
Pretty simple. If FaZe win, they're the second seed. These will take that third seed. Optic Chicago starting in the elimination bracket. At Optic win, there's a couple of different things going to happen. If they win 3-0, they're second. If they win 3-1, they're third. That's great. You're starting in the winners bracket for the major 3. If they win in a Game 5 fashion, just due to the tiebreakers, they will be 4. So it is important for Optic to come out of the gates hot.
Yeah, this is it's crucial. I mean, for everybody involved, but obviously Optic early in the series, they need to make some noise if they're going to do this. And similar to what we talked about yesterday, right? With Gorillas and what they had to do if they were going to get into winners bracket, weren't able to do it. We'll see if Optic can, but you'll see at the bottom of your screen, check it out with regards to a T-Mobile donation you're able to do. Some exciting stuff going on throughout the course of the broadcast today, but all my focus is on this match. I know we have another one after it, but this is a big one.
No, it is. It's one that it feels like there's always a matchup each year that we hope to see, and you only get it a couple of times. This is one this year. We saw it early in the year throughout that stage 1. We saw it once. It goes to a Game 5. Atlanta FaZe, they dominated the search and destroy. They were able to clutch up in a hard point. And it's been a few stages, all the way till stage 3. There was a couple of chances where they could meet up in a major. It never happened. One of those teams would lose. And yeah, we just didn't see the matchup. But yeah, when you talk about talent from top to bottom, you have it between these two rosters.
Yeah, I felt similar at times last year, right? Just waiting for this matchup. When's it actually going to happen? But let's meet our squads. It's time to get into it. First off, let's meet Atlanta FaZe.
The game has turned on its head.
Run! Run! Get onto the point!
Zelius finds himself 2 more.
Oh, baby! Absolutely slayed.
What a magnificent comeback from Atlanta.
They're beast, Joe. Stacked with talent. This squad obviously looking to get back to that form we saw early in the year where it seemed like they wouldn't drop a map, but still a massive threat going into this match and going into the major.
Yeah, I mean, not the best stage, but for Atlanta FaZe, it's always just been work on some of their weaker maps. Map pool, map pool, map pool. It's not about being the best right now. They want to be the best in a couple of months. They want to win a world championship. You have a first place, you have a second place. I think for them, stage 3, 4, 5, it is preparation. They are always going to compete. I think they know that with this roster from top to bottom. They still want to win every major, absolutely, but they want to make sure they get everything down.
Absolutely, and we'll see if all this work is going to start to pay off, but curious what maps we'll see through this. It's a really big one. I don't know if we'll see an experimenting or trying to widen the map pool, probably trying to go to some of their strong maps, but now this is huge for Optic to get rolling early in this series. Those 4 guys have to be firing on all cylinders. Let's meet the squad. Optic, Chicago.
Brutal Mighty keeps it going normal. Looking fantastic. Envoy slaying his way through. Stop from up high, the king. Really starting to run that score up. Ladies and gentlemen, Optic Gaming are back. Chicago are a force to be reckoned with.
Joe, it's a team that started out hot in Respawn, figured it out in Search and Destroy seemingly, and then took a step back in Respawn. I guess we're kind of wondering, when is it going to all click? Because as soon as it does, they're getting to finals.
Well, that's the big question that we have right now, right? Just feels like they have to get back to those fundamentals. But yeah, their Search and Destroy has been great lately. It's really just been the respawns that have struggled for them, just getting on that same page. A big match, as you said, you know these guys are focused. They're going to bring energy. You have a matchup this big. It's a different intensity.
Well, let's get right into the game field keys to victory. We're going to talk through Optic Gaming first.
Yeah, I mean, last 2 series, they are 1-5 in a respawns, 0-4 in hardpoint. For me, it's get back to the fundamentals. I think when you're struggling at times, you can overthink things. And I think that Optic Chicago, focus on your slaying ability, focus on trades, that small talk, get back to that. S&D needs to stay strong. With struggling in respawns, it better be there, right? That game 2 and 5 so important, especially against Atlanta FaZe. Scump and Dashy really leading the way throughout stage 3. Bring the intensity early. You have to start off hot. Like we said, 3-0, 3-0, 3-1. Elimination bracket for both of these teams is a disappointment. But if you don't start off early, no matter what you do, you could be there if you're Optic.
Absolutely, and you wonder if the pressure might help a little bit here. They know they're up against it, obviously high caliber players with worlds of experience, but can they do it? Will the pressure surmount to a win? We'll see how it plays out, but the game field keys to victory now for Atlanta FaZe.
Yeah, the leader is leading by example. Arcees is having his best stage. Just look at this guy in every single game mode throughout stage 3. You love to see it. Focus on winning Search and Destroy defensive rounds. They are 7th in the CDL. They are the #1 attacking team, but they're going up against the ranked #1 in S&D in defense. So for me, they have to balance out that attack with a better defense. It's going to be a big thing for them in that game 2 and 5 if we get there. Then Abizi and Celium, those two have really been the difference makers in the hardpoint victories for them. You can see the difference there. When those two are on, it feels like the pressure they can put on the map is just too much for their opponents to handle.
Yeah, it's been interesting. I feel like every stage there's been, I guess, somebody, I mean, they've statistically all been solid, but somebody's kind of like the pop-off guy, like what? You could have said Abizi or Semp in stage 1. Celium really skyrocketed in stage 2. Now it's sort of Arcees taking over a lot when you talk about the consistency of the slang, and well, that's the power of the team.
Yeah, now take a look at these maps and modes. It's some powerhouse game modes for both of these teams. But interesting enough, look at the map vetoes. For Hardpoint, what's not there? Moscow, right? That wasn't picked. Instead of Garrison and a raid is chosen. Search and Destroy, expressed in Miami, what's not there? Optic, it was open. Checkmate was open for the game 5. They don't pick it. They're going the route of raid. That's why I do to Atlanta FaZe. They're undefeated on Checkmate, Search and Destroy this stage. And Control, well, we're going to be finishing on raid. Their best control map for both of these teams.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering with FaZe, like, would we see the APOC? Would we see the Express? Would we see some of the stuff they're working on, like the fringe of their top maps? And no, I guess we shouldn't be too surprised to see top maps for both squads. They know how important this is. Not that every league match isn't important, but this one, all the pressure in the world to determine who is going to start out in the winner's bracket side of things. And Yeah, we've been waiting a long time for this matchup, Joe. It's the T-Mobile drop game. They're going to be fired up. I swear we were saying having the same combo last year, though. Like, it's like months go by, we're just waiting for them to play each other.
Yeah, one would just lose, like in the winner's bracket side, when you had them for the winners round 2 or whatever it would be. But here we go, Raid Hardpoint for Chicago 4-4. For Atlanta FaZe 3-0, but Optic, they have not played at this stage, so they're 0-0 throughout the stage. Atlanta FaZe, they've only played it once off to start some early trades. But Formal with some nice shots and Scump, using that Krig on the breakoff.
Yeah, this was like what, their go-to. Then they struggled. They tried to figure out whether it would be Garrison or some other map. Now back to it. We'll see if they'll find some subtle improvements. The Hardpoint woes as of late, it's been difficult to deal with. And I think I talked to you a couple weeks ago, and you said you thought that they might be able to make a run at this tournament. Just because the S&D has been so consistent, you know eventually it should click and respawn. And if it happens in the course of a weekend, who the hell knows?
And that's just really it. Yeah, like, I mean, you just look at what happened in Stage 1. Atlanta FaZe dominated S&D. Look at Stage 2. Toronto Ultra at Major 2. They dominated S&D. The way that they've been looking in search is fantastic. But yeah, now it's just around that respawn off the start. Celium with that 5 spree, but in the hill. It's going to be Scump and Formal getting some early control. Can Self find these streaks, playing very aggressive. You would love for him to find this, especially on Raid Hardpoint. Arcees has his help. Now, can he get that Hellstorm? Can he get the cruise missile?
Yeah, we see streaks come into play late so often, but, well, it'd be great to get one with your first or second life, I'm sure. BZ's finding the kills, then Celium through pillars on the cross. Will earn the artillery. What a start it is from him. 7-1, all the points going the way of FaZe. The dream start. Well, if you're a FaZe fan, on the Optic side, you got to get rolling, and it's going to be an answer back at Garage. They're already going to have to set up, and one did spawn out at Old. That was Dashy.
I mean, look at the way they were playing this with the map control. They knew they had them spawning out towards that lower apartment. Dashy off his spawn, he's going to get taken down again. 75 points on the board. You only had a contest at the beginning of the hill, then all the slays come in. Now Atlanta FaZe pushing across the map. You're going to have a, was this a 4-on-2 right now? It's a 4-on-2 for Atlanta FaZe. Plus those streaks, they could get really scary. Envoy and Formal trying to hold on.
They get 3, and that might be massive. I mean, they get broken here. I mean, who knows? You're down 100 plus. The game might be over before you feel like you got started, but Envoy going big, getting 2. Formal in the mix there as well, and you give yourself a chance. Nice little flank through from Scump. That'll be 3 down again, making a triple there for Scump. Now up to 6-6, and some much needed time there for Optic.
They needed that. What a hold by Envoy and Formal. 4 versus 2. The trades ineffective from Atlanta FaZe, as you said. You'd be up around 100 points. You have the score streaks in Celium's back pocket to use to break that basketball hill or towards P5, whenever they would want to use it. And could really put the game away. They still have a 30-point lead. They have early control here. Celium's all the way out at Old, and he's going to call a cruise missile early on because he spawns out. He wants his help his teammates out. He's giving out those call-outs. In a BZ and find a couple of kills.
And I was thinking that we go with succulents instead of flowers.
What are
Now
succulents?
we'll see this push towards the back, and you know we talked about the intensity, pressure. What Optic needed to do early in this series, and they're dealing with a flurry of streaks coming in as well. I'm gonna go right to it after listening with Optic Chicago.
Yeah, sure. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know much of succulents in the aspect of like knowledge on it, so you're gonna know a little bit better than I would.
Alex, front, Ed, more front. Push you. Nice. Maybe more front. I'm getting a new.
Yeah, one right. You want
Give me guys.
You know what? One's in the back.
You said next to Centennial?
Two on the back. 2 on me. 2 on me. One's hitting water. 8.
That's fine.
Nothing zig.
I spawned out of water.
Water steps for kitchen. I have water stairs. I'm looking zig. I have rain. Kitchen set.
Well, I mean, Kroger's got to sell succulents, right?
I'm looking kitchen. Kitchen. Pull stairs.
In.
What's zig? One zig step. 2, 1 kitchen.
Yeah, he hits zig.
2 0. Wrap water someone? I'm going ring. I'm gonna wrap water. I'll wrap ring maybe. I flash him in hill. No trophies in hill.
I'm going ring. Pull.
You can be top ring.
They keep it top ring. I'll see sharing, guys.
I don't see the guy pulling. Yo, pull steps. A weak.
I'm hitting time.
Close up weak. One more time. I need help.
He's back right. He's challenging you.
One's probably kitchen.
Yo, what's kitchen?
Oh, one shot hill.
Nice,
Kitchen. He's just sitting midpoint. Close right point.
No trophies.
He's close left. I'm gonna go around.
Already on you.
I'm gonna go on.
Close up one's
kitchen. I'm going full step.
Right there. Arsene, you on the heady.
Alright, okay, take your time, guys. Take your time.
I'm with you, Brennan. Arsene, you
I need it for you.
Greg, can we pillars?
I'm gonna go
Under me, Art.
Top ring and close
Top ring, you stood up.
We spawn
I'm in kitchen.
I'm going water. Someone hold me.
I hear one Art. Got on time, still?
Nice, one.
Kitchen. Give me like at the red.
Yo, backside ring.
Spawn here.
Nice, he's back to ring. I think he's blue
Blue
van.
van.
I need it.
Absolute white van.
Blue van.
White van.
Well, Joe, the intensity seems to be there, but one of the game field keys to victory was Arcedy's, and what a stage he is having. He's on 5 in a row at 16-7, dominating his former team right now and getting close to some streaks.
Yeah, Dashy's 6-12, and I mean the comms were good for Optic, but there were just some staggered pushes. They weren't waiting for each other. There were some solo challenges, and I'm just thinking, man, if you take that garage hill away, and if there's some better streak usage out of Celium, this game might already be done. Really, if there wasn't that 2v4
250 to 20.
Yeah, like if there wasn't a 2v4 hold at garage, it very well could be. Now you see, RCs was able to earn that artillery. Atlanta FaZe to have the rotation into new. RCs is still locking it down at old and inside a ring. Sim knows something is up. Well, that's gonna be well, I thought he was gonna get that kill. A nice kill by Envoy. Now we're gonna push towards that back laundry side. Lawns do come in water. Will be some early pressure, but Celium back 3. Huge multi-kill there.
He is one with the tree. What were the tree creatures called in Lord of the Rings? Ints, were they? He's an int, Joe. But he was posted up. The angle works out. Another streak comes in, but Envoy does get 2 over that sequence. Now there's 40 points needed for FaZe, 35 left on the clock. They can't close it out here, but the onslaught from FaZe has been too much. This has not been a competitive map 1.
I mean, Dashy just needed his teammate and somehow blew himself up. You know, he's really struggling throughout this game, and that life does not help him whatsoever. Atlanta FaZe knew that they had to basically fight for the scrap time. So as soon as they fight for the scrap time, the score flip. 10 seconds left. They're going to go all the way across the map. Only 21 more seconds needed for Atlanta FaZe as they get set up inside a garage. First fight goes the way of Celium inside of Zig. The other 2 inside of Art. Atlanta FaZe should lock this down, and they do. That's all 4 dead. That's probably the game.
Well, part of your wanting them to play, you know, a Garrison or something other than this map was you wanted Dashy more engagements, and he wasn't really popping off here, but not this. I mean, this has just been brutal. 7-18. It is all FaZe dominance right out the gate, and Joe, you nailed it. That is one play away from being like the worst loss in a hardpoint we've seen this year.
Yeah, 1 or 2. I mean, the garage.
Well, the streaks and the garage.
Yeah, the garage, and they had a really good basketball break while streaks were called in. If the streaks were a little bit better from Cell, yeah. Atlanta FaZe dominant there on raid. Hardpoint, it is why they are undefeated on the map, 2-0 in stage 3. And now we go to a search and destroy on Moscow, which is really good for Optic Chicago, but it's undefeated on the year for Atlanta FaZe.
Yeah, I mean, most of the maps and mode combinations are going to look better for FaZe, just consider the year they've had, but it's tough when you needed to come out strong. You needed a 3-0 or a 3-1. And yeah, you're playing some of their best map combinations that they have. That's the 5th straight hardpoint loss for Optic Chicago. There's not a lot of positives to take away from that whatsoever. It was just brutal. But now to the search and destroy and back to your key to victory, like with how the respawns have been, this is where the good search play out of Optic really has to shine. But before we get to that conversation, we'll take a look through the stats.
I mean, Atlanta FaZe side, everybody positive. For the Optic side, you don't even have 2,000 damage on Dashy. 7-18. Wasn't a good game really for anyone. I thought a couple of moments Jump really had thought was going to maybe like propel them. I thought after the Envoy formal 2v4 and then breaking them into the basketball hill while both streaks were used, I thought that was a momentum shift. I thought that was huge for Optic, but did not turn into anything.
No, it didn't. I mean, you got Celium streaks early. Arcedy's was close. Celium went on another big streak. It just felt like they were tearing them apart. The slang, not even close, but
FaZe, a lot to celebrate from that map 1, but still a long series ahead of us. But now if you were Optic, you've got to win 3 straight to get into winners. But as the fist bumps are out, we'll head to break. We'll be back with the Search to Destroy.
We've come a long way, paid our dues, measured by the scoreboard. We've taken the battlefield as brothers, as friends, as champions, as kings. We didn't come to play esports, we came to define it.
The Call of Duty League is presented by T-Mobile, now America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile, the leader in 5G. The Call of Duty League is presented by Zenni, the official eyewear for the CDL. Armor your eyes with Zenni Blocks blue light protection glasses by visiting zenni.com/gaming.
Hey Mom, sorry I can't be home for Mother's Day today. I hope you enjoyed the flowers I got you. Thank you for supporting me always, and I can't wait to see you soon.
We are back. It is a beatdown on Raid to kick things off, and it makes this run for Optic Chicago a little bit more difficult. You see the breakdown here and what's at stake. Now, can you get the 3-1, the 3-0 off the board, Joe?
Yeah, you gotta win 3 straight maps in a row. Gonna be tough. Because there's 2 respawns in there. And it's, a hardpoint garrison that Atlanta FaZe has just been so good at all year long. But again, if FaZe win, they're the number 2 seed. Thieves are number 3. Up to Chicago, they need that 3-1 to get into the winner's bracket to start that major 3.
Yeah, and obviously, is it a disappointment if you start losers? Absolutely. I mean, without question, just for the pedigree of players they are and the brand behind them. But this is a very tough group. there's that part of it too. Like, it has been a battle. I mean, with the improvements for teams like 100 Thieves, it has not been an easy one. And maybe it's one of those things where this grueling group, the dividends are paid out come major time. We'll see, but they still got a shot. Got to rip off 3 straight. But as you said, a very, very good map for FaZe. 6-0, 5-3 for Optic. So pretty good on both sides, but.
Yeah, and throughout stage 3, Chicago, they've played it twice. They've won it 2 times. Atlanta FaZe 0-0. There's some of these maps that Atlanta FaZe just haven't played in a very long time. That could hurt them. They don't have a repetition. They're still practicing this map, but we were kind of talking. They played a lot of Express, a lot of Apocalypse. It's like you forget that they have some of these ridiculous map records in their back pocket still.
Well, that's what I kind of said, multiple times when people were kind of getting down on them. Like, they're not playing their good maps. Let's see how it goes when they do. And well, you just saw the map 1.
It's almost a perfect raid, honestly, almost perfect. But into this round number 1, Atlanta FaZe on offense. That B side is open. The rotation is here. Envoy's getting a little bit ahead. He's trying to find the information, but the bomb is about to be planted by Simp. He's getting that one down. We're going to have that 4 versus 4 retake. Who is going to open things up for either team? The nades are in, the stuns are in, the flashes. Everything about to be thrown here in the next couple of seconds. First gunfight is going to be Envoy with that first blood. Slides on out.
Big pick, plus he's able to stay up. A lot of pressure now to Arcides. They're flying at him, but there's 2 players there. Envoy will fall. Numbers suddenly over to FaZe. Dashing going to be the last one up in a 1 versus 2. 18 seconds on the clock. He slides out, gets caught. Despite the fact they get the first blood, for Optic, things unravel after that point.
Yeah, I mean, it's just challenge right here. It's a 2v2. I was gonna say, so that was Dashy actually getting taken down, but Formal put some shots in, and he's hoping for a trade. Envoy, he flies out kind of by himself. There's nobody there with him. When you have that man advantage, you would love for Scump or Dashy, either or, to be with him. No, Formal saying there's 2 on that street. The shots come in, there's no trade, and they turn that 4 versus 3 into a 3v2.
I don't know if Formal saw both. He might. Did he think? The way it was played, I
Maybe
thought maybe he thought it was one. Envoy went out thinking he had a weak one-on-one, and then there was a second player there. Is at least what I assumed happened. Envoy gets so weak behind the nades, but he does get one off. Little martyrdom right before he drops, so he will get the kill on to Cell. Now we'll take a look at the map, see where people are set up for this 3 versus 3, but the fight's going down mid, and Abizi's lined him up. He gets 2 through mid. It's a quick victory there for FaZe.
All right, this is what you needed. You need a strong defense from Atlanta FaZe, and Abizi's locking down the middle. He's just using SGs. He's just rotating back and forth. Jump, he's able to get that trade with Dashy, and then the shots come in from Abizi, and then in the 1v2. Dimp and Abizi, but the team shot is in with those 74s. Quick round for them.
I wonder if it's similar. You know how we were talking about Mutineers last night? Their offense is a lot better than their defense. I wonder if sometimes it's the same issue with FaZe. Like, you know, they want to take gunfights. When it's on offense, they can kind of dictate the pace a little bit. On defense, maybe get a little bit antsy, overextend, get overzealous.
Well, and the one map that really sticks out for me defensively for them that has a weakness is Express, and they play that a lot.
Well, Steph lightened it up. Celium now involved as well. Once again, it'll be Dashy by his lonesome. This time a tougher task. A 1v3. His bomb is just planted at the A site. Thankfully, he's got a Krig, but will they give him a shot on an opening as he's just getting hit by all the utility on the other side, and then they come through soaring. 2 for Simp, 2 for Cell in the round, and the dominance from FaZe continues.
Just quick early trades. Abizi and Simp in a 2v2. Both able to stay alive. The flank comes up from escalators, and yeah, they're ready for it. Celium's able to take down Scump. Dashy is left in that 1 versus 3.
Have we seen anything you can... It's hard to dissect some of these quick rounds.
No,
Something
no,
maybe
not
change
really.
on Optic.
No, not really. No, just, I mean, the one defensive round where they had the man advantage, that's the last 2 have been dominant by Atlanta FaZe.
Yeah, falling apart fast, right? Just feels like there's a flurry of gunfights, but the trade advantage goes the way of FaZe each time.
Very
It's a little bit
one-sided.
mixy. Well, Dashy's
Trying to
working
take
about
middle
her.
away.
He's got 2 people here to deal with, though. IBC thinks he, I guess, got behind the van, and he just sends it. Unfortunately for him, he's on the other side. Finally, things looking up for Optic within this game, too, but Zell's on 3 in a row at 5-1, trying to pull off a 1v4. One bit of it done. And it's somewhat manageable. I mean, not going to be easy ever in this situation, but Optic still have to work the plant down. He's got some time to work with, just can't find an opening on either side of it, and he's just being pushed back by everything. Nice job by Optics, making sure Cell can't pull off something miraculous.
Yeah, sometimes it just feels like he's a very hard kill. But yeah, I mean, Optic, they go right back to middle of the map. I think it was Scump and Formal to kind of work their way up. You had Envoy working one side, Dashy the other, and they were just kind of feeling it out. There was nothing middle of the map. Formal, he's able to help Dashy, because you kind of said it, right? Dashy was left in like a 1-on-2, but he wins his individual gunfight versus Abizi. And then Formal is overlooking him, and when they get both of those players B, boom, that is the I'm going to that B site. Knew where Celium was, they execute, nice job. And again, they're sticking with it. They're fighting for that map control still.
I don't know if I'd call it winning a gunfight. It looks so funny from Dashy's POV, because Abizi was just positive he was the van. Just came sprinting out looking that side. Dashy just shoots him in the back. They get the round win. Abizi with another first blood. A lot of pressure to Scump and Formal to try and clutch up in this moment. If the nade backs them up. Formal, though, gets aggressive on the brick side. Gets another pick. 3 versus 3 now. Now, who's working the flank? You got to give him time. At least RC's is going all the way around.
It's going to be tough. You hear the far on Dashy as well. He's going to pull that out. But yeah, RC, he's behind now. You talk about giving them time. Sellium's going to do better, find a kill. The collapse is in. Formal, he still lowers stairs. And yeah, I mean, it's just the ability for Cellium to stay alive top escalators. That's the gunfight that they tried to challenge. They went for it. But Cellium ends up winning a gunfight on the Dashy. Scump and Formal left alive, and RCs, they were buying time, and he's able to punish him.
Yeah, I mean, you just saw it happening in slow motion on the minimap. It's so tough to predict because you're in that, crazy fight. Seems like everybody's there, and it takes a while to hit the flank, but yeah, I mean, all the pressure really on team to stay alive. They do even better than that. So excellent job there by FaZe. Nice flank in by Alex. He had a monster map 1, now 4-3 here, but it's been mostly the Cellium show as he's triple positive at 6-2. And you've got numbers if you're aggressive here for FaZe.
Another slow offense, right? Just sort of very spread out for Optic. They're trying to get the information. But Atlanta FaZe, they just don't care. They said, yeah, wait for us. We're going to take these gunfights. But on the opposite side of the map, Dashy is going to open up the B street. You need Formal to stay alive here. At least find a kill. Sim's going to run right by him. This should be a quick trade into a 2v2. We're going to go.
Yeah, I'm sure Cell was like, Sim, what the hell?
Yeah, like, what the heck?
He just ran right by that. But now to a 2 versus 2. A retake opportunity for FaZe. We'll see if Optic can hold. They desperately need to do so. I thought Scump had it, but he'll lose the fight. Now another 1v2 here for Dashy. 25 to go.
The problem is when he gives this up, they're going to get on the defuse, and now he's got to go. He gives up the position. He doesn't want to take a gunfight. They just rotate on over. Simp just shoulders this. He knows that he's going to have to peek it sooner or later. The cross to the bomb. Abizi just sticks it.
Oh, it's going to be a quick 3-0 for fucking FaZe.
I know, like, FaZe hasn't had a lot of, like, must-win matches this year, right? Like, they haven't been in losers bracket. For the most part, they've controlled the groups. That obviously the final versus Ultra was must-win when you think about getting first place. But this is one of the first times pressure has been on and they've gotten back to their bread and butter. And these 2 maps have been just so dominant.
They sure have.
Like, I don't know how else to, like, word it. Like, it's just, I was all behind the storyline of, Optic trying to pull off the 3-0-3-1 and get in the winner's bracket, but that conversation is going to be dead in 10 minutes. Like, not 10 minutes from now, like 10 minutes since the series started.
Maybe in 10 seconds, but within this round, there's now a 1 versus 2. The trades are there. Optic, they stack the site. They trade effectively that round. But can they win an offense? Can they try to get something going?
Yeah, because as much as we talked about the incredible, first rank offense for FaZe, 7th ranked defense is literally the exact flip for Optic. 7th ranked offense, 1st ranked defense. So for both teams, a bit of a separation there. I don't know which you'd really prefer. I don't know how much that matters as long as you're super strong on one and work to improve in another. But this is where it has been difficult for Optic at times when you compare them to the rest of the league. Or, well, just compare them to how good their defense has been.
It's been like, I mean, you're going to take Atlanta FaZe because you know what they've been doing. We saw how dominant of an S&D team they were in Stage 1 and even at times throughout Stage 2. Wasn't their best, but Stage 1, that was their game mode. You know they can get back to that. They're working on things, working on weaker maps. But on this offense, Scump be able to find that first blood. Here comes a very fast response. So it looks like Atlanta FaZe, yeah, they're about to go. Abizi and RC is going to make this a 3v2.
You get the first blood if you're Optic, but then once again, things unravel. Ashy and Formal. Superstar ARs for this squad. Gotta try to continue this S&D. Under 30 to go, gotta recoup bomb and get it down. Now what kind of timing do they get? That's a great angle there from Dashy. Oh, almost takes down another. Abizi then soars through, and FaZe will close it out 6-2. And the dreams of an Optic winners bracket start are dead.